You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
You are looking, not live, at a recorded video of the man himself and some other men, but Travis Hunter, mostly in front. Oh, look, there's Walker Little. Hey, Walker Little, what up, dog? And the Jacksonville Jaguars as they did some practice. And as you can see here, Travis Hunter on the defensive side of the ball, as you see Anton Harrison in teal, Walker Little in teal as your offensive lineman, Ezra Cleveland in the front in teal, and Travis Hunter in white on the defensive side of the football. And here we are on a Monday, Tuesday.
Not a baby.
Monday for me. I was off yesterday. On a Tuesday, Jason Hamby is back at work, which I am so thankful for. Unfortunately, Brent Martineau on honeymoon, I believe, number 3 for his life at this point. Him and Hall of Fame Steph are somewhere in the world gallivanting.
You know they're in New York with their kids.
Yeah, I was going to go honeymoon, though.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. If that was a bit, I apologize.
No bit. I just, gallivanting in the middle of nowhere, New York. It's not like... Listen, there's a whole summer, right?
Yes.
To take time off for sure. Mm-hmm. Jags only have 3 days of mini camp. Brent was like, you know what? I think we should go to random New York during the mini camp. So listen, it is what it is. He is gone. But we are here for the next couple of days. Austen Lane will join us in a little bit. He is still training for whatever it is he may be training for in South Florida. Mm-hmm. A lot to get to today. We're going to put Jason Hamby to work because I desperately need his insight and all the knowledge he brings. I was thinking about this coming in here, Hamby. I don't think there are 2 more opposite people on Earth than me and you.
Really?
Yeah, because I was thinking about, I'm like, okay, what does Jason Hamby stand for, right? And I was thinking about what I know about you, and I'm like, I don't really have those same qualities. You know what I mean? Jason Hamby, hard worker. I'm like, no, not. I don't really fit there. Jason Hamby, what he does in his free time, and I don't mean that in a weird way. I just, you're religious and all that, and I'm like,
yep.
That's not really something I do. And I'm like, Jason Hamby, what does he probably watch on TV at night? Well, the Braves. I don't watch that for sure. Yep. Georgia Bulldogs probably locks into that kind of content. Mm-hmm. That's not me at all. So for the next 3 days, me and...
Figure it out.
Yeah, what I consider one of the most opposite people. But listen, it works. Brent and Austen are pretty opposite of each other.
It's true.
And they get through most days without any anger issues. Sometimes it happens, and we'll see if we can get through this.
We'll circumvent them
for the next 3 days. We'll try, and we'll see what happens. Again, a lot to do today. Murray State, we'll talk about it with Austen. From what it sounds like, that was a pretty exciting...
I was watching, yep.
You watched the whole thing, some of it?
I maybe missed a couple of the middle innings.
Wow.
But I watched the first 3 and the last 3.
So you were locked in?
Yeah. It was the only game on. And it was that or watching the Braves. And I was like, I watched an inning of the Braves, and they had first and second with nobody out and didn't score. So I said...
You gave up?
I literally watched, I think, 3 minutes. And I was like, I'm going to go back to college baseball now.
I respect that. We'll talk about the Braves and more Major League Baseball a little bit later. We'll talk NHL. We might talk the Gators. Armada played this weekend. We'll talk about that. Jacksonville Sharks got to win this weekend. We'll talk about that. But we start with, I'm pretty sure the spot this show has started in every day since the creation in 2019, 2020. So, no change of pace there. Okay, actually, real quick, Hamby's burner. So I thought about you driving it, but I didn't know I was thinking about you because I was like, there's somebody every time I'm in here that gives me a hard time about the Panthers, and I could not remember who it was. I'm guessing it's you. And we will address the Panthers, or I will, because you didn't watch the Panthers.
I watched 5 minutes.
That's more than the Braves.
So I watched, I watched 5 minutes, and it was, I don't remember but Marshawn scored as soon as I turned it on.
Yeah, that's on.
And I don't know who that is, but I remember they mentioned him yesterday. And then I heard Kachuk's name, so I was like, okay. So I know 3 players, because I know McDavid's on the Oilers. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be a hockey fan to know that.
That's correct.
And then Marshawn, I never heard of before yesterday.
Really?
And I know that he's on a kind of a heater.
He's very good. He's on a
he
heater.
scored. And then I know Kachuk is also on my question is they technically play in what, Fort Lauderdale?
Sunrise. So yeah.
So how far from Miami?
Far. Not close.
Hour?
Probably with traffic.
Okay,
It's not like 60 miles, but like
right. So I don't watch hockey. I turned it on. I'm like, who are all these people? Like the state, like it's packed. The arena,
yes,
is packed.
Yes.
Who is going
Exactly.
in Fort Lauderdale?
Paid actors.
You think so?
Yes. Dude, the Florida Panthers, since the beginning of time, have had no fans. Not a fan to be found. All right. Listen, the Panthers, when they sucked, which was all except for these last 2 years, no fans. 6 people in the arena. You go down to like the Palm Beach Cardinals game, there's more humans than at the Florida Panthers, right? So I don't know where all these people came from. And we'll actually talk about some of the celebrities that were in the crowd last night that the NHL put. There you go, 34 miles from Miami. So that's casually an hour for sure with traffic.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm a big believer in the Panthers give away a lot of tickets, paid actors to be in the crowd. 50 to 261 so free. Betting on the Panthers. I got you. The Panthers have no fans. That's what I want you to take away. If you take away anything from this show, whether you're Hamby or anybody listening, the Panthers have no fans. If you are a fan, I'm sorry, Hamby's burner. I'm assuming you're a fan. But if you meet somebody on the street, you're like, oh, I'm a Panthers fan. They're not. They lied. It's kind of like the Ana de Armas thing, being a fan of the Jags. Like,
That's a good point.
It's basically that.
Yeah.
So
that was a paid endorsement.
Yeah, definitely. That's what you're getting from like an Ariana Grande. And me and Austin had this argument last year, and I'll have it with him again. I don't mind. So yeah, we will get back to the Florida Panthers, Hamby's burner and real Hamby. By the way, Hamby's burner and real Hamby. Do you know this guy? Like, is this the guy that almost asked you to get married the other day? Remember that?
Almost asked me to get married?
Yeah, your friend came on and like started
no,
you guys were going to get married.
No,
that's not him.
No, that's not him. This is a guy that
you don't know him.
I've met him once.
Okay.
Because he actually won one of our giveaways that we paid off.
You guys actually gave something away?
We gave something.
Kilkenny, I see you in the chat, dog. Don't worry, that Super Bowl hat is coming.
So I've met him once. Henry Turner, what was your old username? Because it was that for a while, and then he just like agreed with me one day on like I think it was a Georgia take, and Austin was like, yeah, that's got to be your burner. Nobody would actually ever agree with you.
Interesting
on that.
So it's just a random guy who's a big fan of you.
I guess. I actually might need him to change his username eventually, because I feel like if he says some outlandish take, if he's out there giving some outlandish takes, everybody's still going to think it's me. Hercules. That's right. Don't know what that means really either.
I have no idea.
So Hemmy's burner, just be cognizant of that. You might get a DM at some point asking you to kindly change your username back to that.
Don't do it.
If you're out there putting insane takes out there, which you haven't been so far.
That's good.
But I wondered that. I was like, dude, if he's out there, saying Trevor Lawrence is trash, like one of the other people that always comes.
Elijah on Facebook.
That's right.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to be like, hey, like everybody's going to think that's me.
Yeah, so. No, I seriously thought it was a friend of yours. Hamby's burner, I suggest, listen, Jason Hamby's going to do significantly better things than be on this show in his life. I have a strong feeling about that. Just follow him to anything that he does, like podcasts or shows, or if he writes stuff, and just be like, I know it's a tough thing to ask. You only get one life, but like make it your whole life's gimmick to follow Hamby around and just, be there as his burner. I think that would be a great gimmick. Also, YB, I see you, dog, a couple of chats ago. It's no longer on the screen, but it said when Kasey Kuhrts and Brian Middleton used to make fun of ticket prices for the Panthers. YB is one of my biggest OGs in terms of broadcasting. Bro was watching Overtime with Kuhrts and Middleton. I appreciate you.
You ever met him?
I don't think so. But here's the thing, like, I don't go outside.
I've met him.
You met YB?
He was at Best Bet.
Really?
I think that, yeah.
Dang.
I'm almost positive that was YB, yeah. He was at Best Bet.
You better be right,
a year
you just
ago.
said it.
Yeah. YB, was that you? Were you at Best Bet? Did we meet? I'm almost positive.
Were you at Best Bet playing or doing the show?
No, it was when we did one of our live shows.
Huh. About that. Yeah, YB's an OG. It wasn't YB.
Dadgummit. Who was it? It was one of the, like, YB is like one of who's in there every day. It was somebody who's been in there every day.
Interesting. I'm telling you, man, you gotta, like, here's one thing that is, and this is more of like a radio thing, I think, and not granted, you can't see who's in the, I mean, you can see their name, but you don't know who they are. We used to do these things at Duval House, and like people come up and be like, oh, I listen to the show on the radio. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Like, that's cool. I appreciate it. But people just like don't say who they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay. Like when Delphonic came up to us one time after me and Brent did a show at Duval House, and he's like, I'm Delphonic. And I was like, oh, yes. Like, you know, that would be the way to do that. But YB wasn't at no Best Bet. You ain't going to catch him at Best Bet. Daniel, watch the mail, my guy. Listen, that Super Bowl was only 2 years ago. 3 Super Bowls ago?
Had to have been at least 2.
How do you lost? Daniel, I can't explain to you, like, this is real life, and this, again, is going back to a radio bit. The Super Bowl hat has legitimately been in a taped box with your address on it for 2 years. I'm not even kidding. Still have it. And, like, I don't want to say this about Brent, but he's cheap. Like, bro won't give me $7 for postage. And like, listen, times are tough.
Times are tough.
As you know, as everybody knows, I've been well documented. Brent fired me from radio. That's how this whole thing played out, and hired Hamby, right? So my salary went strictly to Hamby, okay? So that's where my money went. And then guy has the nerve to ask me to come in here and do the show for $0. I'm not getting paid. So until Brent gives me $7 for postage, and by the way, postage keeps going up, you ain't getting the hat, dude. I'm like, this is on Brent. Next time you talk to Brent or he's back, tell him he's a scumbag and to give me $7 and your hat will finally arrive. I don't know what it looks like now because it's been in that box for 2 years, right? When we bought it, the hat was white. It may be yellow, brown, I don't know. All I'm saying, this is on Brent, is who this is on. Super Bowl hat wise. All right. With that being said, appreciate you in the chat. Feel free to chat as the day goes on. Steven, I saw your chat too a minute ago. He said basically bump the Georgia Bulldogs. He's a Gators fan. We might talk Gators basketball a little bit later as they started their off-season workouts yesterday. But I hate to keep saying this, but I'm going to say it again. Going back to radio, and believe me, I hate those people. So I'm going to try to stop saying it. But you folks in the chat always used to give me hate when Brent would say we need more blue chip players. And I would say we have a blue chip player. Mm-hmm. He just happens to be the punter.
Right.
And I used to get lit up for that every day. Stayed committed to the bit for years because I said Logan Cooke was the best player on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And was this after you guys went off yesterday?
Yes.
Logan Cooke, in the middle of the day, in a random day in June 9th, gets a, 4-year extension? And there it is. Highest paid punters in the NFL by annual salary via over the cap. Look at that. And listen, there's some punters on this list now. Like
Brian Anger is fit.
Brian Anger, unbelievable. J.K. Scott. I mean, listen, I'm not here to rank punters, but what I am here to tell you is like Tommy Townsend, good punter. Like a lot of good punters on this list. Logan Cooke edging out A.J. Cole. Do you think that was a conversation? Like, do you think that
Logan Cooke's like, yo, I got to be one?
Logan Cooke.
Because I think A.J. Cole signed yesterday.
No way.
Another punter signed a good deal yesterday. I don't know if it was.
Yo, if it's that guy and they edged him out in the same day.
No, it was. Wait a minute. This says Michael Dixon, who, let me see, where was he at on our?
He was like 4th, I think. 3rd.
Well, that says 3.67 a year.
Yep.
Garofalo, actually, in the last 2 hours, just said the Seahawks have agreed to terms with Michael Dixon on a 4-year, $16.2 million extension, once again making him the NFL's highest paid punter.
No!
So what, he had it for a couple hours?
Unbelievable. I was just trying to clown A.J. Cole for this, and now I got to clown myself? Because actually Logan Cooke's the one getting clowned?
So I guess, Logan, he's getting $200K less. over 4 years.
Like,
unbelievable.
I also kind of love the dynamic. He could. That's real.
We need to read that. Logan Cooke could drop a ball on a gnat's ass from 300 yards.
He could. Andy Craig, I believe that to be true. Logan, like Coach Ripley says it, man, like Logan Cooke is really good. I would like to believe, though, in these punter negotiation meetings that, like, this dude who at Dixon was like, listen, I saw Logan Cooke's getting 4, right? Need to top that a little bit, which is crazy. But anyway, back to Logan Cooke. Well, like...
Yeah, dude.
Bro has been a staple here in Jacksonville when it was absolutely terrible. And I know that sounds dumb to say because he's the punter. I get it. But, dude, there's a lot of times where Logan Cooke gave you a chance to win by just going out there and doing his job.
Flipping the field.
Which a lot of the Jacksonville Jaguars, unfortunately, have not been able to say. Going out there and doing their job to the highest level. Logan Cooke has continued to do that. You've seen it at various positions in Jacksonville, like... There was a long-time kicker debacle because people did not go out there and do the job they were brought in to do. You've seen it pretty much at a lot of positions on this team. You could say O-line, you could say DB, ton of positions. But Logan Cooke continues to show up and was good.
Yep.
And I think when we started to kind of joke, if you will, when the Jags were terrible, that Logan Cooke was the best player on the team, like he was good, developing, and now he is one of, if not the best punter in the league. Well-deserved $4 million a year. And really a success story for punters. Like, I got to imagine punters aren't like, I'm going to go make generational wealth here. Like,
that's, yeah.
Logan Cooke just, and this sounds dumb because he's an NFL player. I get it. Like, just change the lives of, like, his family and kids and their kids. Like, if, obviously we'll see if he gets cut and all that. I don't know how that's going to work. But, like, I can't imagine Logan Cooke ever thought coming out of college, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to sign a, 4-year, $16 million deal. It's a good thing, Hamby.
Yeah, it is. And it is true that he has been an actual weapon.
Oh, definitely.
And, when you think about a punter, that's like probably the last word you would want to use to describe them. But in games that we have led and we have had to punt up 4 with 3 minutes, it is crazy. I mean, you're like, well, at least, hey, our defense isn't going to have to stop them 60 yards. They're going to have to, they'll at least have to defend 80. Because he's going to put it in the 20.
Oh, without a doubt.
He's going to put it inside the 20. And how many times does he put it inside the 5?
Definitely.
And then, well, our defense is still giving up 95 yards, a touchdown.
Yeah.
But
I got nothing to say there. You're right.
Logan Cooke has done his job.
That's all you can ask for.
I mean, he kind of killed the skills competition at the Pro Bowl that I was at, which I still don't know why I went.
You went to the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, it was.
You bought a ticket?
I did not buy a ticket. No.
You were media?
No, not even media.
You sat in the stands?
I sat in the stands at the Pro Bowl. It was at the time, it was the fiance's family who lived in Orlando.
Okay.
And they have my brother-in-law, he's 10. And he wanted to go because he likes Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and all that.
So you got a free trip to the Pro Bowl.
Right. So I was like...
You were like, I'm going to watch Logan Cooke kick it.
Well, I was like, it was BTJ and Logan Cooke and that's Ross. Well, I don't think Ross ended up doing anything because...
That's unfair. You know what I mean?
He might have done something. He might have... I don't know.
I mean, what?
But anyway, I watched Logan Cooke punt the ball into foam things.
Nice. This is a good sell for the Pro Bowl. They should put you on the commercials. You want to see punters kick into foam things? Buy tickets to the Pro Bowl. Right. Listen, he deserved to be a Pro Bowler. He deserved to get paid today. All things good for Logan Cooke. Good for him. He deserved it. Austen St. John, I'm assuming not the Red Power Ranger. Did you know that? The Red Power Ranger's like the original Red Power Ranger. His real life name is Austen St. John. Yeah.
Wow, how do you know that?
Because I know things, dog. I know things that don't matter at all. Says Austen St. John anyway. Either the Red Power Ranger or not, says punters are people too. Very true, and Logan Cooke is getting paid. For a minute he was getting paid like the best in the league. Now he's second. But still, Logan Cooke's still number 1 in our hearts. But good for him. And listen, about Logan Cooke, I would trust bro to punt from the 0.1 yard line where he is as far back. He's getting it off, and I bet it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And You want to feel good about that with your special teams. Again, that has not always been the case in Jacksonville, especially with the kicker. But again, the punter, you felt good about it for a while, and you will continue to feel good about it in Jacksonville for the next little bit. And
I need one more thing from Logan Cooke.
Okay.
Obviously, he's done about everything we could have possibly asked him to do.
Mm-hmm.
I only need one more thing for his career to be complete as a Jacksonville Jaguar. I need a 4th and 10 conversion pass.
4th and 10 conversion.
I need to see the wing.
Okay.
I want to see him launch one. When is the last time? And I don't know the answer to this.
They did something like that.
The Jacksonville Jaguars had a 4th down fake punt pass conversion. Do you remember one? Does anybody in the chat remember one?
Coach Ripley, I feel like will be the one that comes up with that. Probably. It doesn't stand out.
I can't remember one.
But here's the thing. I feel like we've seen Logan Cooke throw the football. Maybe I'm bugging.
Let me see if he has any pass attempts.
I feel like I've seen it. 4th and 10. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to lie. All the bad runs together at a certain point.
That's true.
So, like, when they were out there winning a game that year.
In 2023, he had 1 completion for 17 yards.
Okay. So we did see
No. 1 completion for 13 yards.
Okay.
Who was it to?
I bet you're talking like a Daniel Thomas, Wingard, someone like that. 10 of 23. Is that what you just said?
Is that October?
October is 10. Is that the date you just said?
It didn't have a date. It just said.
Yo, Kilkenny, that would be a heck of a pull, dog. I don't know. Listen, I know you have a computer because obviously you're watching on YouTube, but if you just knew that off the top of your head, that's a heck of a pull. That's worth a Super Bowl hat if you ask me. But again, that's on Brent. He's got to give you the postage. Because I know we've seen Logan Cooke throw the football. Clearly we have. You just found it.
So he has 3.
Okay.
He has 4 total attempts, 4 total completions.
Woo! Tim Jones is a great call. I bet. I assume you versus Saints. Okay. Is that the game Trevor got hurt?
No, because that was.
Is that 23?
I thought that was last year. No, that was. Yeah, that was Thursday Night Football against Derek Carr. And all we're hearing is Trevor's ankle, and then he runs more of that game than he had.
Yes, that's
all
right.
year.
That's right.
That's
Did
right.
happen.
Okay.
I forgot about Tim Jones. I really like Tim Jones.
Dang. Logan Cooke is 4 for 4 with 33 total yards.
Broken. I'm telling you.
He had one to Michael Walker in 2019.
Yes. Michael Walker, Gardner Minshew's former roommate. You want to talk about a poll? That's a poll.
Wow.
Yeah, he used to stay with Gardner Minshew. I remember when they brought in Michael Walker. I don't remember him doing anything ever, but it sounds like he contributed on that one play. Do you have all the other ones up?
Those are the only 2 I can find.
Okay. All right. So unconfirmed if we got a 4th and 10 in there, but listen, I would like to see a little 4th and 10, and I think that goes back to something that Brent has said a lot, and I hate to repeat, guy, because I don't really like him. But for a while there, it was last year. It was the plan didn't work. You need to do something different. Right. And I think there were a lot of times that people were, and I don't want to say begging, but like there was a lot of times it felt like if you were watching the Jacksonville Jaguars last year and it was 4th and 4 and Logan Cooke's on the field, you're like, you know what?
Why not?
Just throw it.
Yeah.
Just throw the foot. Like, do something different. And I don't know if that's something that you'll need this year, because I'm also a believer in, like, as much as I'd like to see Logan Cooke spin it, I would also just leave my offense on the field, right? But I will say it feels like from the very little that we know at this point about Liam Cohen and what they're going to be, I strongly believe Liam Cohen is not going to be scared to do something like that,
right?
If needed. I think he's probably likely to leave his offense on the field.
Right.
And that's crazy kind of to say coming off of Doug Peterson, who, like...
You would have thought that was him.
In fairness, made his legacy off a goofy play where he threw it to the quarterback.
Right.
Which, in fairness, now that Doug's gone, all right, nobody really wanted to say this when Doug was here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to say it now. Nick Foles called that play. We've seen it. Nick Foles walked to the sideline. He's like, you want to do Philly? Doug was like,
Stroking his non-beard.
Stroking his, right, it's just chin. It's like, yeah, let's do it. Like, Nick Foles called that play, but I digress. Anyway.
Shovel pass Brian Anger to Will Tufau against the Ravens guy. Bradley was the coach.
Okay.
There we go.
Here's the question. Do we need more of this? Like, if we're calling for the punter to throw the football, is that a good thing here in Jacksonville? Probably not. Probably not. William Torres, LOL, Cook has 101 passer rating. So you're telling me at multiple times Logan Cooke may have been the best quarterback on the roster?
Yikes.
Like when Jake Luton was running out there, no offense, Jake Luton, if you're listening. Like, you're telling me Logan Cooke should have been the answer there? Anyway, good for Logan Cooke is the point of this whole thing.
Yes.
I don't think there's one human being on earth in Jacksonville that is like, oh, they gave the punter $4 million. I don't think that's the case here today. And good for him. And somebody said a couple minutes ago, like, they got to pay Ross now. I mean, I'm not against it. Again, like, Pro Bowler, so sure. But, like, dude, has a long snapper in the history of the NFL ever, like, signed an extent? Like, is that a thing?
I'm sure that it has.
Like, I know they always should. Like, Ross has been here, right? He just keeps being on the team.
Right.
Is that like an extension thing, or do they, like, come back around? They're like, you just trying to play again? Ross like, yeah. Like, the Panthers had a dude for, like, 15 years, J.J. Jensen. Do you remember that name?
No, dude.
Look up, see if he's real. I might have made that up. But I'm pretty sure the Panthers had a dude named J.J. Jensen.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Oh, my gosh. He looks like a freaking model.
He was a good-looking dude, I think.
He's 39 now.
Does he still play?
No. But he set the franchise record for most career games played in 2022 with 226.
There you go.
So he played from 2009 to 2022.
Yes.
13 years.
So, okay. So here's, I don't know if you can look this up, but like J.J. Jensen contract, like his
we're doing it.
career earnings or something. Because like J.J. Jensen was there for like 20 years, but did they ever like go to him like, hey, we want to sign you to a
Oh, he still is on the team.
He's still on the team?
40. He's 40.
Yo. Like, if you think about it, it's the greatest job if you can do it, because they can't hit you until you do your job.
In 2012, he signed a 4-year, $4 million deal.
Okay.
In 2016, when that was up, he signed a 5-year, $5.5 million deal.
So he got a raise.
And then 2021, every year since then, it's been a 1-year deal.
Okay.
And he goes up $60K pretty much per year. Yeah, dude. I mean, what are we doing? He gets 1.2, 1.2, 1.3, he's going up $60K a year, so it's covered inflation for him.
So, he's got that under control. So the going rate for long snapper, if you're like goated, is about $1 million.
His career earnings is $16 million.
That's crazy work. That is crazy work. Good for him. The only reason I know that, human, is because when I lived in Tampa, I used to, this is no shock to anybody listening, used to get autographs. And we would do teamers because the Panthers would come in every year, and J.J. Jensen was a staple on the teamer. You know what I mean? Beautiful autograph. J.J. Jensen.
Not a baby.
So, yeah, let's get Ross Matisic some cash, I guess. If $1 million is the going rate for good long snappers, Ross is very good at it.
He's going to get $1.5 million.
How crazy would it be their punt unit is making $6 million? Like, be like one of the only teams in the league, I feel like. Maybe not.
100%.
I guess, Seattle and what they're doing right now at the punter position. But, all right. Well, Logan Cooke, congratulations to you on getting paid. We'll see what happens if anybody else to get paid by the Jaguars this offseason. I guess there are still some candidates in the Jaguars, I believe, as we speak, are on the field right about now.
Yes, that's correct.
Boy, I'll tell you what. I'm sweating in this studio. I can't imagine what it's like outside.
Dude, I'm cold.
Yeah, see, I've always thought you were kind of weird for this. Like, anytime I turn this, like right now, you're wearing a hoodie.
Yeah.
It is 1,000 degrees in there all the time.
That's crazy.
Like, you're not cold in there.
Yeah.
There's no...
If I didn't have a hoodie on.
Dude, that computer is cooking at 6 million degrees per second. I don't know how that works. We can get Sesnick in there to figure out degrees per second. Okay. But I'm telling you, it's hot as hell in there all the time. And then in here, it's kind of warm because the lights...
But over there, it's Antarctica, so maybe that's part of what it is. So, wow, because I start over there every day, and I'm freezing.
Like you're saying in news?
Yes, and I walk over here.
That control room is cold in there.
It's literally 40 degrees.
I was wearing hoodies when we were doing blitz stuff in there, and Amanda was like, why are you leaving the house in a hoodie? It's like 90. And I'm like, because They're trying to recreate like Christmas in there.
Yeah.
Because it is freezing. So I get that. But like, yeah, every time I click on the show, I'm like, Hamby's in a hoodie. I'm like, this guy's out of his mind. Because it is hot in there. Trust me about that. Ross should get 1.2. He tackles too. He does tackle.
He does tackle.
Bro has laid the boom multiple times. And there was a comment just a second ago. I forget who said it. But I do remember this. Fake punt against the Jets. I do, for some reason, remember this. Was that 2 years ago? They didn't play the Jets. They did play the Jets last year. Was that last year they got torched by Devontae Adams?
Yep.
I do remember a fake punt against the Jets.
We beat the Jets in 2023.
Was that in New York?
Yes.
I feel like the fake punt was in that game. I must be wrong.
That was a primetime game, too.
Oh, really? Was that a Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence?
Yes.
So it must have been like
or maybe Mike White.
It
might have been Mike White.
Oh,
I think that was a Thursday because we won. That was 2022. That was in the last, like the second or third last game of the season.
Oh, that was the December game?
When we made the playoffs. And then we played them last year and got cooked.
Yeah. There was a fake punt in one of those. I remember a fake punt against the Jets. I don't remember exactly how it played out, but I do remember that being a thing.
Andy Cray is listening from England. He says it's 70 degrees over here in England, and I don't have a hoodie on.
The fake punt was against New York in the rain. That's what yes, I do remember this now. And that was the... So Zach Wilson didn't play in that game? Because the only reason that game was on primetime is because it was supposed to be Trevor and Zach Wilson. I mean... Boy, Amazon... And we talked about this before.
19-3.
Yo, they killed him.
Yeah.
Well, I remember this now. They killed him on the scoreboard. The Jags did not play the best game of football in the history of the world. The Jets just sucked so bad.
Okay. If you can tell me...
Oh, here we go.
Who the leading rusher for the New York Football Jets was in that game, I will legitimately give you $50.
You already owe me $75, by the way.
I do. I texted you. You didn't respond.
I know. I just thought it was better for a bit to be able to hold it over. 22?
22 in that game. A 19-3 contest. The Jets were 7-8. Michael Carter is not the answer. He played in that game.
Yeah, I remember Michael Carter, North Carolina.
This player had 9 carries for 54 yards and led the Jets in rushing.
Does bro still play football in the NFL?
I've never heard of him.
So it's not Zach Wilson from the chat. Chat's thinking Zach Wilson. I wouldn't go Zach. Did Zach play?
He did.
Okay.
He played, this is your clue, he played half the game.
What is bro's name?
If chat...
6 billion teams, right? Is it that guy? Josh Johnson?
It is not Josh Johnson.
Did Josh Johnson play against the Jags at some point?
Yes, he has, but he was not on the Jets at the time.
Who was their backup?
Number 15.
Oh, the dude in Nikes. He wore, yes, the dude. I remember this clear as day now because Aaron was a Jets fan, and we thought they pulled dude out of the stands because he was wearing like Nike high tops. Stead something. Am I close?
Kind of.
Oh, crap. Yes, Ripley, the other quarterback. What was that guy's name? Damn it. It was like Stedmeyer. Damn it. What was that guy's name? Look him up. I'm telling you, if you type in that game and Jets against the Jags, bro is wearing legitimate Nike tennis shoes. Yeah, they ran the power run. Yes. That's so funny. I never would have ever thought about that again in life.
I got him.
You see the shoes?
Yes. 1 second.
Isn't that crazy? Because oh man, that's a great pull. That is a great pull. I'm not gonna cut this.
You want the name?
Yeah.
Chris Strevler.
Strevler! So close to $50, William. I know. And I'm poor. I just told you. Brent fired me, gave my money to Hamby, and I'm here for free. I was that close to $50.
These shoes are crazy.
Aren't they? It looks like bro just literally showed up out of the stands in the rain. Man, that's a heck of a pull, Hamby. Good job. I liked that the chat was stumped too. Yes! Literally. I forgot this happened, dude. They bring this guy in, as the chat said, in literally Nike tennis shoes. You could see him right there. He could not throw the football. Like, it was physically impossible. Garrett Wilson's over there. Garrett Wilson, was he in then? Was he on the team? 23?
That might have been just rookie. Yeah.
He's over there breaking his helmet, throwing it on the ground because they can't attempt the forward pass in 2023. This guy is getting the ball out of shotgun and straight running directly at the Jags. And for the most part, it worked.
He had 9 carries for 54. He's averaging 6 a pop.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what they were doing on first and second down, but this was the play on third down, and they didn't score, obviously.
He was 10 of 15 passing for 90 yards.
Did throw it?
So he must have just checked it down every time.
Yeah, okay.
Not
so
really
forward.
forward.
Yeah.
And Zach Wilson was 9 of 18 for 92 yards and a pick.
Did Zach Wilson get hurt? Why did
he had to have. There's no way maybe they benched him. There was no way they would bring him to Straveller if he didn't get hurt.
Bro. Dang it. I did not see that happening today. But I'm glad that it did. Coach Ripley calls him broke-ass Tebow. Yeah, I mean, it was a wild time. It was a wild time in Jacksonville around that time. He was a CFL quarterback the year before. I'll never forget thinking they pulled bro out of the stands, rocking his Nikes. And that should have been the game that Amazon got out of the NFL. Like,
yep.
When they saw that play out, they're like, we should be done. We should be done.
Yeah.
Wilson was benched. Why? Like, I always, not that we're talking Jets, I always wonder that about the Jets Zach Wilson thing. Like, they would so often just take him out for Mike White or Straveller. Why? Like, you suck. You're the Jets. Let him try to figure it out. They didn't. He's now on his third team. Maybe they were right and I was wrong, but the Jets still stink. So what do I know? All right, let's take a break. What was that?
That was some loud music.
Okay.
Let me fix that.
No, it's all good.
And we're going to try again.
All right. That was loud. I don't know. See, here's what's funny about YouTube and like social is like to us, that was very loud. But like the music is always so low on YouTube. Like they might not have even heard it. They might have just seen us looking at each other like, what are these idiots doing?
Facts.
But anyway.
So let's go to break with another look at this.
All right. Look at that. The GOAT. If Martineau happened to check in like, hey, how are my two storied prodigies doing hosting the show? And he sees this picture of Chris, right? Chris?
Yep.
Chris Straveller in his Nikes running all over the Jags. He's like, maybe I shouldn't have left the show in the capable hands of those two. But we're here. We're here for the next 2 hours or so. Austen Lane will join us. And maybe a more Chris Straveller conversation when we come back.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the note for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with the purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
It's fast-paced,
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
high-fly,
Wide open receiver, it's caught.
action-packed, weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks. I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gonna be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the Drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
I'm flabbergasted. I didn't know what this was going to be, but I said I trust you. This is good. I'm glad you did this. What part of this is the craziest part to you?
The ball.
Yes.
100%.
That is the correct answer. It is indeed the football.
If the ball was a regular football, then this wouldn't be that
kind of normal.
Right.
You could be like, I see where they got this from.
Right. But we wrapped the football in Jaguar print.
That's crazy work. Does it? You can't really tell, but like, do you think there's laces on there?
No.
So it's just like a football shaped item?
Or maybe they covered it.
Yeah. That is unbelievable. Like, all right. I have no problem with this. I actually like it. The football thing is insane. But are there other humans that got to sit in this chair, or is it just like Swaggy Trev?
So there are others who did this. Here, I'll just pull up. So I guess Travis Hunter is technically, he's in the chair.
Sure, that makes sense.
Here we go.
Look at the ball, though. It's like fluffy.
Yeah, that's a fluffy ball.
That's crazy work that we both just said that out loud. But more importantly, okay, like, see, do you feel like, here's how I feel with this. This looks more, the Travis Hunter in the chair, in the Jaguar room, if you will, looks more, appropriate is not the right word, but it fits better.
Than Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel that way too, huh?
100%.
Okay, cool. Like, I don't dislike the Trevor part, but like, I feel like you have to have a certain level of
What is the word?
aura
Yeah.
to be in that chair. And like, it's not that Trev doesn't have it.
He doesn't care to have it.
That's it. That's exactly like, I feel like when they were like, hey, Trev, we need you to sit here and hold this and, you know, look like you, I guess. He's probably like, okay, whatever. Like, oh, yeah, sure, I can do that. But I bet it was probably no different than like any other picture that he took yesterday. Travis Hunter, though, was probably like, oh, like, okay.
Right.
I'm into it. Like, I don't know. It just, Travis Hunter feels more in place there. Hammy's burning. I'm not trying him. I'm just saying. He exudes aura is certainly a sentence that you just put out there. Listen, I can't sit here and say he exudes aura when he showed up in the denim those couple of times.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of foul. I'm not sure where that landed on the chat meter of quality looks. I'm not sure what Austen had to say about that, Hamby. I'm not sure how you felt about the denim, but I didn't love it.
I didn't love it.
Okay. And there's a big part of, you know, like I hate to do this. I hate to do it. Some of you probably know where I'm going here. But like, I think if it was Joe Burrow and like the Bengal stuff, that's quality.
Yeah.
Like, I think people are losing their
They
minds.
could do it. Bengal print. Is that a thing?
I think so.
I mean, it's just
This is going to sound dumb, but what does a Bengal look like?
a tiger.
Okay, yeah. So
Because it's a
then,
Bengal tiger.
fair enough. Yeah,
Because I think
makes
they're,
sense.
and I could be totally
I'm
wrong
with you.
on this. I think they're white jerseys, which I think are sick.
Bengals.
Are kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
Are kind of a play on the albino tiger.
Mm.
I don't know, but could be. Because the Bengal tiger has more white in it. Like the paws are white pretty much.
So if they put Burrow in a room of like the white tiger fur, if you will, I feel like it would be too much. Be really bright in there. Like, I feel like, how about this? You go regular tiger walls and the football is like white tiger. That could work.
That's it.
That could work.
Okay, so the Jaguar spots are like round.
Yeah.
Like these.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengal tigers are stripes. So other than that, they're a little bit more orange.
Interesting.
And they have a little bit more
So it's
white.
close.
So they probably look semi-similar.
So they saw the Jags do this and were like, man, missed opportunity.
Yep, probably.
Listen, good work on the, I don't even know what job that is. The set design production crew of Jags Photo Day. That's dope. It was a good idea. I'm not mad at it at all. I'm glad you found it. I hadn't seen that. First time I saw it. And the way that this works is when we come back, a little inside the business, as Brent likes to say, it's called a bump, right? Not that surprising. Probably heard it on the show before. If you would have seen me, my jaw just dropped. I was flabbergasted at what I was looking at Trevor Lawrence sitting in the Jaguar print chair. We do need to get Trev in something other than Gucci. He's got simple taste, said Hamby's burner. Yeah, like, I don't know. I think like classic black t-shirt could go a long way for Trev. Like,
It's what he normally rocks after like the post-game press conferences.
well, yeah, but like, does he wear those walking in? I feel like it's never just like a classic black tee.
No, yeah, it is.
It's always like fresh out of the shower, Trev, like, oh, I got this. Now let me put the denim on top of it. It's like, oh, hold on, Chief. Maybe don't. Maybe don't do that. YB says, is it because we don't win like that? I'm not going to lie. That probably plays in. Like, I'm just going to be real with you. Like, I like the design. I like everything about that. But I do think subconsciously for me, there's like a little bit of like, win something before you put a football in Jaguar wrap. Maybe. There's probably something there for that. And listen, Cincinnati hasn't won a ton. They did go to that one Super Bowl and lost. But I think it's a weird dynamic with Cincinnati. Like, it feels like, and maybe this is just me, maybe, but like, to me, they never seem to do what they're supposed to do. But it always feels like Cincinnati could just beat you at any given time.
100%.
And I don't feel that
Except for
way.
the first 2 weeks of the season, which I'm glad that we play them week 2.
Yeah.
Because we're always terrible.
Put that theory to test for sure. But, like, if Burrow's out there, it always feels like they could just run it up on you.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that with the Jags. And now maybe that will change early because they have Travis Hunter and they've got, Brian Thomas Jr. They've got, it seems like, 4 running backs, tight ends. They've got all that. And listen, they could go route the Carolina Panthers, and that might start to change your subconscious about how you think about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That's just kind of where it leads. But overall, not mad at the idea. Score 1 for the Jaguars photo day crew. Hamby's burner. So if Trevor Lawrence wins the Super Bowl before Buffalo and Josh Allen, is he better? Hamby?
I mean, it depends on how we get there, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think if it's this year and he has an MVP season, he wins a Super Bowl, are we saying, is the national media going to say he's better? Probably still not.
Probably not.
Because he's only done it for 1 year. But I think the national media will probably tell you that in the playoffs he's better. Josh Allen and especially Lamar Jackson have struggled in the playoffs. They're known as the regular season MVPs, but you can get them in the playoffs. Josh Allen played very well in the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
He did not play very well in the playoffs in the years prior. He threw way too many picks.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Lamar.
True.
And you could easily say, oh, that's because he's playing the Chiefs every time and he's losing to the Chiefs. And I would say I agree with you that they are the Super Bowl champs for 3 years, obviously, before the Eagles. And so if you're losing to the Super Bowl champs, eventual Super Bowl champs, you can't be that upset. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're bad in the playoffs. But all that to say, if Trevor Lawrence were to win a Super Bowl this year on this team and have an MVP season, everybody would already tell you that he's better in the playoffs than Josh Allen.
It's fair. A lot of good points. Listen, I'm always a big believer in winning, right? It's more important than the stats. And listen, you can go back and hit me with then Trent Dilfer was elite, and I'd be like, no, that's not the case, but he did win. So barring it looking absolutely terrible from Trevor Lawrence, and they somehow win a Super Bowl, I would probably sit here and tell you that he's better. Yeah. Just because I carry winning to that point.
Sure.
Now, who is more talented? I think that's probably a conversation to be had between those two. But I think there's just so much value on winning more than stats for me. And I think that's where I would go on that. But also, I think the flip side of that is there is no scenario that the Jacksonville Jaguars are in a position to win anything without Trevor Lawrence being one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way those things go any other way than together. So, and listen, let Bro win a Super Bowl would be great, but then he can sit in as many Jaguar rooms and Jaguar furniture and Jaguar footballs and whatever else that they could possibly put Jaguar print on. I'm all in at that point. And listen, I don't have a problem with it now. I'm just saying, it feels a little...
Feels a little bit like Chris Streveler wearing Nike cleats in a football game.
Kinda. Another Chris Streveler mention. What a world we are living in. Hey, appreciate you being in the chat. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. If anybody's out there on Twitch, what's good with you? A lot of interaction today, which is cool. We're going more interaction here. We're gonna try something out here. And we'll see how the people respond. We have some stuff for the 11 o'clock hour. There was last week position coaches meeting with the media, all of them. I know you guys played some of it, but we do have a couple that were unplayed. And me and Hamby were texting before the show. We're like, all right, which one do we want to do? And Hamby's genius idea, which I liked, was let's let the people decide.
That was definitely your idea.
It was definitely your idea.
No shot.
Listen. If it's a good idea, I'll take it. If this flops, it's all you, my guy.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is if you have a vote in the chat, which we hope there's at least one, so somebody else can make a decision that's not us, on which one you would like to hear in the 11 o'clock hour. We will play that for you. Your options.
Your options are, you have three options. You have Edgar Bennett, the wide receiver coach, who you heard a snippet from last week talking about Ryan Thomas Jr. And Travis Hunter. But you'll be able to hear about him returning to Jacksonville from his time many years ago. That's option one. Option two is the offensive line coach, Shawn Sarrett, who will no doubtably talk about the new additions. Obviously, this is his first year in Jacksonville. So option two is offensive line coach Shawn Sarrett, and your option three is the defensive back coach Tony Perkins. So he will be talking about Travis Hunter on defense, Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray, some of the new additions to the Jaguars secondary. So option one, Edgar Bennett. Option two, Shawn Sarrett. Option three, Tony Perkins. We will hear from one of them in the 11 o'clock hour. Please vote.
Please vote is most important. Even just one. Listen, we just need a vote, but we would love for like 6. That would be ideal.
Yeah.
But
and I felt like Jeb Bush right there. This has nothing to do with politics, but I remember when he campaigned many years ago, the please clap.
Oh, I do remember please clap.
Please clap.
Yes.
Please vote.
Man.
We need it.
So if we don't get a vote, what you're telling me is we're the... Okay, we got to vote. We got to vote. As of right now...
Shawn Sarrett.
Offensive line in the driver's seat. So we will... Option 1!
Okay.
It's tied up! Oh, we're getting votes!
Bill Sheridan is not an option today. I'm sorry, Hamby's Burner. Please follow the guidelines.
Hamby's Burner. 1, 2, 3 are the options. Wide receiver, O-line, DB. We got to vote for each. We're doing it. Chat interaction. Somebody give me a raise, which would be anything to get the people talking. Option 1, William Torres. All right, we
will keep a handle. Already 100 messages. How about that?
Look at us. And they said we needed Brent.
Case, I did want to bring up, we heard from Tank Bigsby yesterday.
Okay.
And we had the conversation of what his role is going to be in 2025. Mm-hmm. So Brent put out a poll.
Oh, God.
Coming off of the interview that we did with him and asked the people, not the bots, but the real people, who will be the Jaguars' primary running back in 2025.
Ooh, okay.
ETN, Bigsby, Tootin.
Okay.
Do you want to guess what the split was between the three?
I would say, knowing the way that Twitter works, I bet there are some votes for Tootin.
Okay.
Which I think is, I know you like Tootin, but I think is probably a bit wild, being a fourth round. I could be wrong. I feel like, for the most part, it feels like people are kind of out on Travis Etienne. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I am on social the way you guys are. But just kind of judging by some stuff I see in the chat and some reaction, I feel like people may be out on Etienne. I hope that's not the case, because I am not out on Etienne. And then I think that leaves Tank Bigsby, but are people that in on Tank Bigsby? I'm going to go Tank Bigsby as the favorite here. What does math say? 40, 30. What does that leave me with?
30.
Oh, yeah. No, that's not.
So give Tootin, I'll go ahead and tell you Tootin.
Yeah, please.
Give Tootin 12%.
Okay, that's about where I thought. 12%. Give me 60-40 Bigsby. And I don't even love that. I don't even.
Well, so it'd be 60-30.
60-30, thank you. Ugh, I don't even love that even more. 50-30.
Travis Etienne had 60% of the vote.
Good! I like this.
Bigsby had 30, roughly, and Tootin had about 10.
Yeah, I like that. That's where I would want it to be, right? And I listen, I guess I underestimated the reaction to Travis Etienne. I still think Travis Etienne is extremely valuable on this team. I said it last year. I made a bet with Austen Lane that didn't come true.
What was it? Because I thought it was him it was Austin that said Bigsby will have over 8 touchdowns, and you said there's no way.
Yeah, it was. I thought Travis Etienne would lead the team in touchdowns rushing wise, and he went Bigsby. Just because I think Travis Etienne, obviously Tank Bigsby wins that from last year, and I'm sure I was supposed to pay up in some way, shape, or form.
That's a good question.
Hopefully not. I didn't. I'd be open to it, but I don't really want to. And listen, here's the thing. I would go back, maybe not touchdown-wise, but I would go back into like a usage bet on that because I still think Travis Etienne is an extremely valuable piece to this offense. I think he's a good quality NFL running back. Is he the greatest running back to have ever played? He is not, and that's okay, right? But I think he gives you a lot of things that this offense can need. On the flip side of that, the way that Liam Cohen runs an offense, I feel like he would be of interest, let's put it that way, to Liam Cohen. I understand they drafted Tootin. I understand they like what Tootin can do. And I understand Bigsby gives you different than those two. But I would have thought that people were more out on Travis Etienne than that. PJ says no need to keep Etienne if we have Tank. I'm assuming Tootin and Bigsby. Someone got to go. With Tank and Tootin, Etienne got to get traded. And you like Tootin a lot, right?
I mean, I just think that going off of what Liam Cohen did last year with Bucky Irving and Tootin runs 4.3, like the fact of the matter is Liam Cohen's going to find a way to use that. And regardless of how good Etienne is now, there's going to be a lid, I feel like, on his usage simply because of the fact that he's in his last year. Liam Cohen is going to play the long game. And if he can shave off 10% more of Etienne snaps to give to Tootin, so that sets up Tootin well for next year, he will do it. Then does not like if the plan simply based off of production was for, let's just say, Etienne to get 60% of the snaps, and then Bigsby 30 and Tootin 10, I would not be surprised at all if 10% is taken from Etienne and given to give Tootin 10 more, because again, this is it for Etienne. This is last year.
Sure.
As much as they want to win now, they're still going to play for the years going forward. And I guarantee you it is a high priority in Liam Cohen's mind that Tootin is the very reliable in 2026 and beyond.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do. And listen, I think that comes back to what are you trying to do? And I know this sounds stupid. What are you trying to do in 25?
Yeah.
Because if the answer is win, in my opinion, your best path to winning football games in terms of personnel is Travis Etienne mixed in with some Tank Bigsby. But to your point, you got to develop Tootin, right? Because you draft him and you think he's going to be part of it. We did this a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember if you were here or not, but the Bucs last year, Bucky Irving, well documented, halfway through the season became the lead back, 207 carries. Rachaad White, 144 carries. Baker Mayfield, 60 carries. How about that? Some downs in there. But and then Sean Tucker still had 50 carries.
Okay. So they ran the ball a lot.
They ran the ball a lot. And then catch-wise, Rachaad White had 51 catches.
Yep. That sounds right.
Bucky Irving, 47. Sean Tucker, 9. So using that, if you will, to try to mold a model, catch-wise, I don't think that you're going to see Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby close in receptions like that.
No, because Bigsby just won't be used in that way.
No.
He might have 10 catches on the year.
Yeah, like right where Sean Tucker was.
Right.
But does that mean that Travis Etienne is going to have 60 catches? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Does Tootin fill that role?
I think he would. I think even there's a possibility, but at some point in the year that LaQuint Allen finds his way, if he can carve out a special teams or something.
I like that guy.
Because you're not going to carry 4 running backs who can only play running back.
Correct. Absolutely. Not going to do that.
And that's what kind of the conversation yesterday was, last year there was no buzz about Keelan Robinson from a running back perspective. It was all special teams.
I forgot bro was a human. We barely knew ye.
Right, and he's obviously since been released last week.
Yep.
But LaQuint Allen, there's buzz about him in the running back room as a pass catcher.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can do something on special teams
to stay on the roster,
and find a way to be, because my point was I feel almost better about the depth of this Jaguars running back room much more this year than last. And that's without seeing a single professional snap from Tootin or LaQuint Allen.
Sure.
If one were to go down, ETN or Bigsby, then I feel like we'd still be okay. And a lot of that, again, is my belief that I don't know how much it's the typical NFL debate. How good does the running back have to be? Or is it the offense and the offensive line and the coach and the scheme that makes it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, now I'm not trying to take anything away from Rashad White or Bucky Irving, but they're fourth-round picks for a reason. Which you're still going to get a dang good running back in the fourth round.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dylan Sampson, I think, was a fourth-round running back. He led the SEC in rushing. Right, he was my shock your mock favorite all of March. But if he can do that with them, he can do the same thing with Tootin.
Yeah, again.
On paper.
Right. Real quick, a couple comments ago, Hamby's Burner says it was either I think or he's going to, whatever. The point is Travis Etienne compared to how Deebo Samuel was used. I don't know their height and weight currently. It feels like Deebo Samuel's significantly bigger to kind of carry that load.
100%.
But I think the idea of the carries more so than the receptions in the Travis Etienne model, but still getting Travis Etienne some catches, like we've complained about that for years, going back to the radio days. Like, why do they not throw the football to Travis Etienne? He's explosive, right? So I think that part is intriguing. How many times do they try to throw it to him a game? Because I think currently in an NFL game, which again, as you mentioned, two guys you have never seen play in the NFL, the others are Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne is clearly the better pass catcher, screen guy, throw it to him behind the line of scrimmage football player in the NFL than Tank Bigsby is. So that's why I like Travis Etienne so much in this offense, because I think Liam Cohen is going to do that. Now, to Andy Cray's point, did the Evans-Godwin injuries necessitate the wide receiver pass targets? Yes, without question. Same goes for Cade Otton, right? That Bucs offense was injured. You were running out there at a given time, Sterling Shepard, Jalen McMillan, and Cade Otton to try to catch the football from Baker Mayfield, right? There's two ways to look at that. One, yes, I would think the targets for for running back comes down in this offense. I think they're still going to be there, but it's going to come down as long as Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. are on the field. But the flip side of that, and has been documented many times, but I'm going to bring it up again, Bro had a plan when things didn't go well. When Mike Evans, Hall of Famer, gets hurt, when Chris Godwin would be a wide receiver one on many other teams gets hurt, what do? We're going to do these things. So I think ultimately, yes, the targets for running back comes down, maybe significantly, because of what your personnel is, at least early in the season. Could you see a guy like Tootin or Allen get more targets towards the back half once they figure out what it's like to be an NFL player? I think that's definitely a conversation. But early, I think you're going to see most of your targets be wide receivers. But I do think they have to get Travis Etienne involved there as long as he is on the football team, which I think he should be. But to the overall point, I am surprised that the vote went the way it did for Travis Etienne. I think that's a good thing. I really do. I think Travis Etienne makes this team better. I hope that Liam Cohen is telling the truth and he is the top option until he's not. I hope they keep him on the roster. I don't really think there's anything he could do to sign an extension here. I mean, even a Saquon Barkley year would be, first off, would be great. And maybe that's a conversation to be had, but I like Travis Etienne. It hasn't been perfect here in Jacksonville, but it very rarely has. But I still think I can't say he's your most explosive player anymore because you have two receivers that are pretty explosive.
Right.
But I think Travis Etienne's extremely valuable.
And as you mentioned, Liam Cohen, last week, unprompted, by the way, he was asked about Travis Etienne, but unprompted was like, I don't know where all that stuff coming from, talking about trade rumors and all that.
I hope he's telling the truth.
So I thought that was telling. By the way, Liam Cohen is talking right now to the media, Perhaps we will have that for you at the last part of the show. Maybe tomorrow.
Ooh,
but at some point, we will hear from them. And we will also hear from Jordan Lewis, which should be entertaining. And one more player, because of the contract extension, Logan Cooke.
Oh!
We'll speak to the media as well.
We got punters on the podium?
Yes, that's correct.
Holy cow.
Someone I can guarantee you that we will hear from is Parker Washington. We will hear from him after the break. And he spoke about, hey, there's a lot more of you're going to have a lot more looks this year, right? There's going to be a defined role for you in a way that there has not been in years past, and how are you feeling about it? So we'll hear from him as well after the break. But we also want to show you this.
How about that? This weekend, this Saturday, Action Sports Jax 24/7 network starting at, well, as you know, 24/7. It's on all the time. If you wake up at 3 in the morning with a stomach ache, heartburn, dog barking, in my case, dog licking herself, which is a serious problem at my house. Dog got a skin condition going on. Nonetheless, we're working on it, folks. It's fine. But if you wake up in the middle of the night at any time of day, you can go to actionsportsjax.com and something will start playing. It could be the Jacksonville Sharks, the Jacksonville Armada, the Brent and Austen Show replay, Young and Norvell, Stadium Pulse, Scrap House, any various thing, and there's plenty more than that. But on Saturday specifically, starting at 2 p.m., Old School Kingfish Shootout. You can watch it right here. The weigh-in, I believe, is what you will see, and that will be a good time. And that leads right into the Jacksonville Armada at home at Patton Park, if you would like to go. If you cannot go, it will be on the network like every Jacksonville Armada home game for both the men and the women. The women were on this past weekend, picking up yet another W for the Jacksonville Armada.
They've been red hot.
Women's team. Men and women, red hot. And that's one thing, if you're in Jacksonville and you are a soccer fan or just you're okay with soccer, I understand it's hot out there, but they're really good. Like, this is not a joke. This is not a game. It is. But it's not a game to the Jacksonville Armada. It's a match, and they're very good. They win most of them. If you don't want to go out and deal with the heat Saturday at 7 p.m., watch it on the network. Watch the Old School Kingfish before that, and watch Parker Washington talk about his role on the Jaguars when we come back.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jag Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament, but this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
I'm glad that you have something related to the Oakland A's because I have a negative Oakland A's story that I want to draw to your attention. But my guy's name is Denzel Clark, correct?
Denzel Clark.
This dude, this catch last night, I mean, as you can tell, bro is not really touching earth for the most part. I mean, yeah, the wall's connected to earth and yeah, he's touching the wall. But you get the idea. Feet above head. This ball was caught. Would have been a home run. Real quick, though, if you watch the video, what was the director doing? Because, like, he's going up to make the catch, and they, like, randomly zoom in on bro. And, like, he kind of goes out of frame for a second.
No way.
It's kind of goofy. At least the version I saw. I don't know if it was, like, a cut version. But if that was the live broadcast version, I would have some questions.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that kind of goofy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted that close of the reaction, I guess.
Yeah, but wait till he catches it. You know what I mean? Go watch that video if you just type in Denzel Clark catch. Denzel Clark, though, has made 2
Yeah, he made
catches.
1 last week against the Blue Jays. Yeah. That was pretty nuts.
And he's only like 2 weeks into the majors.
Right.
So, bro is outstanding in center field. Although, listen to this. Did you watch the A's game last night? Of course you didn't. Who the hell watches the A's game?
You did?
Yeah.
Why?
Jacob Wilson, man. It's incredible.
Really?
Oh, I love Jacob Wilson. It's in 371 now.
But you're tuning into the A's to watch him hit.
Yes, sir.
Respect. That's cool.
Yes, sir. Love Jacob Wilson.
Okay.
The unfortunate part about that is the A's suck.
Right.
Like, borderline, we could beat them. All right? Me, you, Brent, Austin, Marcel, Stewart, Liv, Hicken, Sesnick,
7.
Wax. We'll go get Nick in the daytime from Tennessee.
Yes. Okay, we got a starting 9.
We got a shot, is what I'm telling you. The A's are terrible. But, so last night I'm watching the A's at like midnight because I'm an idiot. And they're playing the Angels, who in their own right are not great.
Right.
And this was a legitimate sequence in Major League Baseball, getting paid millions of dollars. Ball back to the pitcher. I think it's a bunt. Thrown away. Throws it nowhere close to first base. Error. Next play. Ground ball to third base. Bro misses it.
Who's in the field?
Oakland.
And Jacob Wilson plays what position?
Short. It was not Jacob Wilson. Is Max Muncy, not the Dodger, but the A. Ground ball to third base. In his glove. Misses it. Error. Back-to-back errors. Okay. Next play. Base hit to left.
Mm-hmm.
Brett Rooker. This is real. You can look it up. Brett Rooker coming in. Try to throw the guy at home. Bobbles it. In the glove and out. Not an error, technically. But didn't field it cleanly. Run scores. Next play.
No, there's not one.
I swear to you. Nolan Chanel, whatever dude for the Angels.
Yeah.
Base knock to center. Denzel Clark coming up to throw the guy out of home. Bobbles it in the glove and out. 4 straight plays. We can't field the baseball in Oakland.
Oh my gosh.
They end up scoring 4 runs and lose or the Angels end up scoring 4 runs. Oakland loses because they suck. But just 4 straight, not 2 errors and then 2 that, you could have made a play if you could field the baseball. And then the next one is it's a base hit to left and Rooker fields it. And I was so ecstatic for the A's to finally do something. I was like, yeah, they did it. My wife wakes up. She's like, because watching the bedroom, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm just happy they can baseball. Yeah, that's all. No big deal. So the Oakland A's, if you're checking in on the Oakland A's here in Jacksonville, Florida, they still stink.
So real quick though, speaking of things that should never happen in a Major League Baseball game,
what you got?
You see what the Marlins did over the weekend.
You talking about the Ryan Weathers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if
hit your own pitcher on a throwdown.
If you didn't see this video is on social a lot. Rays, Marlins in a minor league stadium, I may remind you. By the way, game called by Scott Kornberg.
Yeah, I wonder if he, obviously it was before they come back from break.
That's actually a great point. I wonder what he said.
Yeah.
I'm going to check in with him on that. But Jumbo Shrimp broadcaster Scott Kornberg calling the game in Tampa for the Marlins, also calling the games in Pittsburgh and
D.C.
Thank you very much. And Ryan Weathers, one of the better pitchers on the Marlins, just back from injury. Actually been good since he's been back. Warming up in between innings, throw down to second to get this thing going. Ball off the dome.
Yep.
Catcher drills his own guy.
Fortes, yeah.
And then Weathers goes down. They come and get him off the field. He's still alive, which is good.
Stayed in the game and pitched.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well, now he's on IL for 60 days.
60?
Yeah.
Not with a head.
No, it's something else.
Elbow?
Yeah, something like that. But just what? It's not only did they get swept by the Rockies, who had only won 9 games in 3 months, they then go to Tampa and hit their own guy with the baseball. Oh, my goodness. Marlins.
It's better than, I think I'd rather watch the Marlins play baseball than my ball club.
Yeah, your boys are not good.
Terrible.
Not good.
And actually, so I told this brief story yesterday, and I need to tell you, because as you well know, whenever we do any kind of play-by-play.
Yeah. That was a good segment.
It will be back eventually.
Maybe. Unconfirmed.
It's just, it's more often not just the Braves being bad.
Yeah, that's the gimmick.
Yeah. So, as I said yesterday, on Saturday, we just got done with a couple travel ball games. I was coaching, and my boy, who was on the show briefly.
Oh, the one that the married one.
About soon to be. He is the head coach. I'm the assistant coach. The same way for school ball, travel balls.
Really?
Yeah. He's the head coach at Covenant. I'm the pitching coach.
How do I get on the staff?
Dude, let's go.
Listen, I coach a mean first base now.
I have been the first base. I will gladly stay in the dugout and help hitters and just worry about the pitching staff if you want to take first base. Coach. Regardless.
Okay.
We'll work on that later.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I still owe you money, so I'm sure we can get out, and we'll add to the tab. I texted him, text me. I need you to text me every 30 minutes from 4 to 7.
Okay.
To make sure that I'm not watching the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, it's a problem now.
Yeah, because it's
a sickness.
It's just ruining every day.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, because if you have 162 baseball games and you're like, playoffs is one thing, but you can't let regular season games be
a problem
affecting your
mentality.
Life.
Yeah.
Anyways, more of a joke than anything. He didn't end up texting me. So, but
come on, guy. You had one job.
Regardless, I was busy that entire time. Thankfully.
Okay.
And I said this yesterday, but I didn't say what I was doing. I said we might have to say that for another time because this is one of the. This is one of those things where in your life you're like, I never imagined I'd be doing this.
What you got?
So it turns out the wife and I are setting up the apartment.
You got an apartment, okay?
Okay,
nice.
And we've moved in gradually. We're fully moved in, but there was still boxes. This last weekend was like, all right, we've got to get every box out of here. We've got to get moving.
Okay.
So all of my shirts are in one closet, in the guest bedroom closet, because until, she's going to take over that one until we've figured out a healthy arrangement.
Sure.
What I didn't know was that I would have to take every hanger off of every shirt that I own and replace it with a hanger that was bought because my hangers weren't good enough.
Really?
So turns out if you go to freaking Kohl's and you buy a shirt and they ask you if you want to keep the hanger, you're not exactly supposed to say yes.
No Kohl's hangers.
Or any kind of hangers like that.
They're not good enough.
Apparently not. Because I have like 50 different types. I got the paper still on it.
Absolutely.
From the dry cleaners on just a regular old t-shirt. I got some white hangers. I got some black hangers. I got some tan hangers.
Absolutely.
I got it all.
Oh, same.
Not good enough.
I didn't realize that there was a hanger protocol.
I didn't either.
I'm with you.
So I'm sitting on the floor for literally 2 hours.
No.
Because here's the thing. It wasn't just that it had to be replaced with a new hanger. It was, if it was something that I wear frequently, it had to go on a black hanger and go in one closet.
No.
Because we got to conserve space. And she did want to allow me to have at least a little bit of space.
Oh, that's nice.
In our bedroom closet.
I mean, that's the least thing.
But if it wasn't a frequently worn item, it went on a white hanger and got banished to the other closet.
Really?
And then every hanger I had then had to go to the dump.
You threw your hangers away?
Yeah.
What the heck?
I know.
I'm going to be completely honest. I wasn't fully aware you could buy hangers. Like, I thought everybody just kind of got them the same way I got them, which was from the store. Yeah. Andy Craig, this is serious stuff.
This is sports radio.
This is what it is.
Which is not radio, but no problem.
Andy Craig gets it.
He gets it.
Yeah. Wow.
So I was thankful that I wasn't watching the Braves.
Well.
But at the same time.
Both about the same painful.
That's what I'm saying. And here's the most painful part.
Okay.
At the conclusion of all of this. So this was probably about a 4-hour execution. Not just the closing the hangers. There was more. Between this box and we were clearing out this and whatever. 4-hour execution. We get done about 6 o'clock. 6:10. As you know, a baseball game is normally about 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's what I hear.
Okay. So I have not watched the Braves. I have not checked the score up until we finish. It's time to go to dinner.
Your boy's not texting you because he totally screwed this up.
He screwed it up. He let me down. So I checked the score. We're in the car. May or may not be driving.
I'm going to go with may not.
Right. We're up 2-1. It's the start of the 9th inning. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to win a game. Let me watch on the 10-minute drive to dinner. Out, base hit, walk-off 2-run home run, Matt Chapman. And I'm like, this
is the worst day.
I literally watched 3 minutes of baseball, and it's us losing. Wow. And this is after
the hanger debacle.
It's not only after the hanger debacle, but baseball-wise, it was after the day before we blow the game on a wild pitch. And the day before that, we blow a 6-run lead in the 9th inning, and Rysell gives up 7.
That was nuts.
Well, Blew It, which if your name is Blew It, You can't be pitching in a.
Yo, that
you
is
can't be a
crazy.
Pitcher. Your name's Scott Blewett.
Yes.
It's worse than Ryan Suckup.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay? You can't be in the bullpen. You could be a hitter.
You could.
You can be a hitter.
You cannot be
But you cannot be in a position where your job is to save it or quite literally
hold it together.
Blow it.
Yeah.
And his name's Scott Blewett, and that's what he did. And we brought in Rysel, and he didn't help it either because he's unbelievably bad this year.
They bring up Kimbrel. He sucks. DFA.
Which, Anthopoulos,
that's scummy.
You're putting on a bulky special by not giving us any explanation of why Craig Kimbrel was DFA'd. I mean, you just have him in purgatory all year in AAA as a Hall of Fame pitcher, which is bad enough. You finally bring him up. I guess they didn't make that much of a big deal about it. The media did, and rightfully so. I would have too. He's finally back. He pitches 1 inning. It's a scoreless inning. DFA'd. Hey.
That's crazy.
I don't need you to give me an explanation on Scott Blewett being DFA'd, even though I almost feel like I want one for that too, because he was one of the only guys who could throw a scoreless inning, and he had 1 bad outing. He's out of here. Let's bring up Kimbrel. 1 inning, he's out of here. It's a bulky special that we're not getting an explanation. It's a bulky special that you told us all offseason that our bullpen would be good, even though Matzik's gone. You let Minter go, and Joe Jimenez is out for 6 months, and you replace none of them. And here we are. We're freaking 28-37. We're 13 and a half games back. We can't close a game for anything, and our GM has told us nothing. And we're a month away from the deadline. And what are we going to do?
Nothing.
So, hey, feel free to give us some answers, Alex Balky Anthopoulos. Let's go.
Man, the one thing you do not want to be compared to Trent Baalke. You did draft Brian Thomas Jr., but, you know.
He did.
That's about it.
He also drafted Parker Washington.
Nice transition right there. I'm just going to take it. I was going to address some of the comments, but I'm just going to take it. Parker Washington, drafted by Trent Baalke, still on the roster for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They bring in De'Ami Brown. They bring in Travis Hunter. Obviously, you lose a Christian Kirk. What is the role for Parker Washington going to be? Sounds like he may have somewhat of an idea on that. Parker Washington caught up with, is it Olivia Tassley? I believe Olivia Tassley and Parker Washington last week, or yesterday at some point in time that was not today, about what his role will be for the Jags in 2025.
I mean, we choose each day to put our best foot forward and have some fun and just attack the day. And then, I mean, we compete within the room. I mean, talk about just little stuff, just like in our drills, just racing and all that, and just making plays and see who can make the most plays. So it's just been exciting, fun room so far, and I can't wait to carry that momentum into the season.
You guys have a lot of top-tier talent with obviously getting De'Ami Brown and then drafting Travis Hunter. I mean, what can we expect from you guys this upcoming season?
Just a group that's going to take it one play at a time, have some fun, and just make the most of each opportunity. I feel like just with EB, just with how he's coaching us, I mean, just make the plays, have some fun with it, and let's go.
You really stepped up when Christian Kirk went down last season. Was that an accelerated, got to get ready for this, or were you ready? Did you feel ready when Christian went down?
I mean, when it comes to that, just with my approach, it's just attacking each day like you're a starter, no matter where you are, no matter if you're practice squad, no matter if it's basketball and you're the sixth man, just come off the bench and be ready to go and just practice and take each rep like you're a starter. And that's been my approach since day one, and it's really helped me and just keeping my focus just on getting better and putting my best foot forward.
Yeah, year 3, where do you feel like you are personally as a player?
I'm just at a space where I'm just having fun, just enjoying it. I mean, like I said, I'm going into year 3. It goes by fast. So I just want to enjoy it. And then I tell everybody, like, we're on the tail end of our football lives and our football career. So just make the most of it, have some fun, and chop wood, carry water.
Your second offensive coordinator, second new scheme under, Liam Cohen. How do you feel like you're fitting in?
It's been great. I mean, it's really exciting. I like how we move pieces around, and you can tell just with this staff, I mean, we're going to have some fun, and just with how they scheme things up and move players around. So that's fun. I'm excited. They're excited. You could see the energy each and every day. So let's go.
3 years with Trevor now. How's that connection evolving?
Oh, it's definitely coming together. I mean, we're on the same page with a lot of things. I mean, routes. I mean, just with that, like after each practice, we're getting routes in. We're communicating about it, talking about it. Just been getting on the same page and learning each other. I would say we've been talking about our golf games all the time. We be on the simulator at times. So it's just been a fun connection to have, fun friendship, and then a great teammate to have as well.
Parker Washington right there. You know what's interesting that I took from that? By the way, just to work through what happened in the break here, I believe William commented on the Hamby rant, and it was a good one before we went to Parker Washington. As you see now, Hamby has gone through a wardrobe change because his frustration with hangers and the Braves made him lose the jacket. That's what Hamby's working.
It was getting a little toasty.
Yeah, bro was worked up when we went to the Parker Washington interview. Aside from that, which is still, the hanger thing still blows my mind, but we will have to leave it where it is. The one thing he said there that really interests me, and I've never, ever considered at any point.
I think I know where you're going.
Is that they're at the end of their football lives. And I was like, it has nothing to do with actual football, like on the field, how it will affect the Jaguars. It has nothing to do with that. But when he said that, I was like,
yeah, never heard that perspective.
I've never heard that. And at first I was like, what is he talking about? And then I was like, well,
we started playing at 5.
Yeah. And I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but if you're a guy like Parker Washington, right? I think there's probably a sense of it could be over really at any given moment, right? There's been guys cut in Jacksonville that we've been confused about. And if you get cut, there's no guarantee you're ever going to play again. So I think that was extremely interesting perspective. I think it was cool for Liv to get him to go to that point in her line of questioning. And it's just something that I never thought about. So that was kind of cool in terms of like where he is in this Jaguars offense. Sounds like he's excited to play under Liam Cohen and in that wide receiver room. A lot of good stuff there. Parker Washington has made a play or two for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, Hamby. I don't know what to even expect from Parker Washington. Tony Baselli was very excited about De'Ami Brown when you guys had him on before the draft. So it feels like he is going to be extremely involved. Travis Hunter is obviously Travis Hunter. Brian Thomas Jr. is Brian Thomas Jr. I don't know what that does for Parker Washington, but I say that, and I also say it feels like he is a very safe and reliable fourth option for you. And as we talked about earlier, the Bucs lost their top 2 guys last year. Their next 2 guys had to step up. And if the Jags are in a situation like that, although very different football players, I get that. I have some faith that Parker Washington can do a thing or two for you if he has to.
Yeah, and he did last year when, I mean, even whether it was Trevor Lawrence or Mac Jones, it seemed like he was at times like the number 1 option. And I think he proved some things there. Let me ask you this. You know, Parker, it seems, from limited time, obviously, with these interviews and over the last couple of years, I think there's a trend that we've talked about with the Jaguars players. It's almost a little bit of an easygoingness, if that's a word.
I'm with you.
And like, if you had a counter on how many times Parker Washington just said he was going to have fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot.
It was
in that interview. My question is this has no relative importance as far as on-field production, but in these kind of, hey, when you're asked as a guy who I would have to imagine probably feels like he belongs in the NFL at this point, and he could produce in the NFL at this point, who's halfway through his rookie deal, would you rather hear that, what he did say about having fun, right? Enjoying the moment, enjoying being with the teammates, looking forward to what, or would you rather have a guy who was more like, yeah, I'm coming for it all this year. Like, I know what I'm capable of, and I'm looking forward to being a primary focus in this offense, a reliable go-to guy for Trevor Lawrence, and looking to see where that takes us. And I know that's more individually minded, but my point is that a lot of these Jags are, at least when they talk, very team-focused with their words, very attitude-focused with their words as far as positive, right? And not a lot of it is about personal production. And so I'm just curious, like, maybe we get that from Jordan Lewis later today.
Right.
Of like, hey, I've got something to prove, and I know that I want to be a go-to guy. Right? As far as, but everything's about the room, everything's about the team, which is great. But what we've asked for in the past is some more dogs.
Yeah. No, we've asked for that a lot here in Jacksonville. I think it's an interesting thought, because if this were a Doug Peterson Jacksonville Jaguars or a non-first year coach Jacksonville Jaguars, I would answer that and say the second part of what you were saying. I would like to see more of like, I know I can be this and you should use me as X, Y, whatever. But with the whole regime change, and I know some people aren't going to like this, and the whole fresh start, if you will, I like the idea that I think they're all on the same page. So I'm not mad at how he answered the question. I can very well see your point. I also think it is somewhat difficult to say what you were saying in that, what the back half of what he could have said, when they brought in two guys ahead of you. You know what I mean? And like De'Ami Brown, I think, was a question before they drafted a Travis Hunter, and it was, De'Ami Brown really the guy to elevate it? Travis Hunter, there's no argument. And now that he's here with De'Ami Brown, if you're Parker Washington, you go, well, there's not a ton I can do there just because they're such different players, I think. I do think, though, there is a role for Parker Washington. I think it was Hamby's Burner. A couple of minutes ago that said he could fill the Christian Kirk role. And I'm not in on the Christian Kirk. I don't want to say that you're disrespecting Christian Kirk, but I'm not in the belief of somebody can just be what Christian Kirk was at his best, because at his best, Christian Kirk was very good for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So can Parker Washington do that on a lower scale? Can Parker Washington play that role 6 to 7 yards, get open, catch a football, maybe get a yard or two after that? Yes, I think he can. But also, he's not a guy, in my belief, that changes a game for you, which I would have argued a couple years ago that Christian Kirk changes a game for you if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Parker has a role. I do like what he said. I do understand your point. But I think they're in a good spot with him, and we'll see what he can be in this offense when everybody's healthy, and if he's needed in a larger role, we'll see what that looks like. I like the idea that Andy Cray remembers me wanting the Jags to pick Puka Nacua. Shout out to you for that. I appreciate you remembering. I believe Austen Lane remembered that I wanted them to pick Puka Nacua, although he was not on the show at the time. You might have heard me talking about Puka Nacua, did you?
I did hear you talk about Puka Nacua, but when I think back to some of Kasey's best calls, though, I mean, I always relate back to the Houston Texans one where he had a lot of hype with the Houston. Was it what was it even though? Was it Stroud, or what was the Stroud and Nico? I think it was
Stroud, Nico Collins, and I like the coach. I like D'Amico Ryans.
That's right, yeah, because you were really big on Nico Collins, and I just thought like, okay, well, in college he didn't, he didn't really do that much. May have bypassed him in fantasy football that first year where he went off, and then I always give Kasey props for that. And it's great to see Kasey, more in a full-time role here on the show. Kasey, one thing, man, I hope one day when, we have to go to the bullpen and we call you up to kind of do a full show, I hope you quote Thanos and one of the most coldest lines ever, where you just say, you couldn't live with your failure, and where'd that bring you? Back to me. Like, I hope one day on the phone with Brent Martineau, that conversation gets had, Kasey, because it's cold and it reminds me of you a lot.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to file that into things that definitely will happen at some point when I'm arguing with Brent Martineau about something. First off, what's up, Austen? Good to hear from you. Me and Hamby been
going on, man?
Holding it down a little bit. We were saving this part of the show. Hamby said he watched about 6 innings of Murray State baseball.
Thank God it wasn't that Brewers-Braves game last night. Good to hear.
I didn't watch that either. Who did the Braves win?
We finally won a game.
Oh yeah. Braves won very comfortably last night.
Okay. Well, sorry about that, but
it's all good.
I'm guessing you watched about 9 innings of Murray State baseball. Like, were you locked in? I mean,
man, yeah, Kasey, I was locked in, and for the first time, really stressed over college baseball. And believe me when I say this, as someone now who has been following the Murray State Racers baseball team for the past 3 weeks. But believe me when I say this is a special team. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's wild of how they're able to win games. I mean, they're a fun team to watch because they don't necessarily do it with power. They just kind of do it, singles here, doubles here, walks here. And I think they really play the game the right way. It was way so stressful though, because if you watched any of the game, that first inning, they go up 2-0, bases loaded. I think they only had 1 out, maybe 0 outs. I'm like, oh, here comes that quality Murray State, 20-run game that, we've all been itching for, because that's what they do. They put up runs. They ended up getting the door closed on them, only put up 2 in the first inning. I'm like, okay, that's all right. And just like the way the game progressed, I'm like, man, I have a bad feeling about this. And even up until the last play of the game, which I thought was the last play of the game, where they called interference and then they reviewed it and then it wasn't interference. I'm like, okay, well, here comes the home run for Duke to win the game and everything, but it never happened. Murray State wins. College World Series, here they come, and I couldn't be more excited for them.
So I saw, Hamby, did you see the play?
Yeah, so basically
what happened?
Basically what we have is we have 1 out with a guy on first. Taylor made double play ball, and the guy on the base runner on first goes in decently hard.
Okay.
And the second baseman kind of trips, causing his throw to be a little late, and the runner is safe at first. And so originally the second base umpire immediately calls interference, which would end the game. So Murray State dog piles.
Oh,
and then,
shoot.
Yes, they do. They full dog pile. And then
I was dog piling some pillows in my Airbnb. I was
crazy work. That is crazy work. Dog piling pillows.
Excited, Kasey.
Okay. Yeah, so Duke's coach obviously comes out and asks for the headsets. So while they're still dogpiling, the umpires are reviewing.
No way.
Murray State's head coach, who, by the way, is awesome, doesn't necessarily do the most, intentional job of getting them to stop celebrating. He's kind of just very lackadaisically, hey, guys, eventually he's just hey, they're reviewing this.
Get up.
If it were me, I'd be like, y'all, until this is officially official,
stop,
chill, because the pitcher's at the bottom of the pile.
Oh, shoot.
So they go back and they look, and the base runner sticks, from what I could tell, he sticks his foot out just a little bit, but he's never out of the baseline, though.
He's never out of the baseline, and it wasn't his lead foot that was sliding, it was his back foot. Right. So the back foot can get a little wider and everything. The second baseman stepped off, and it was one of those things where, and I agree with the call. I don't think it was interference. Yes, the guy stepped off a little bit and tried to make the throw, but it's just one of those things that happen sometimes, I feel like.
Yeah. Obviously y'all would classify me as an old when it comes to the game of baseball.
Sure.
Ancient. Yes.
Perfectly good. Perfectly legal slide. I would wish that we could still as base runners go in harder. But I was worried that they would stick with the call of interference because of the way the rules have changed, softened up and all that. I'd also say, hey, second baseman, do a little bit better job of creating your angle coming off of the base so that you have a clear lane to set your feet, plant your feet rather, and throw. But nonetheless, so they call no interference. The guy gets put back on first base.
Wow.
So we got to do it. We got to get another out, and the 4-hole hitter's up, and it's a lefty, and he's already dropped a bomb in the game. Correct. And I should have watched like this. 20 bombs on the year, I think he had. And I mean, I think it was a 1-1 count. He rolled over a ground ball right to the first baseman. He touches the bag, and we're dogpiling again.
Wow.
But and listen, I can't imagine being that pitcher, right? Because, and to be fair, like, yeah, I agree with the call, Hamby, but what I thought was going to happen was there enough indisputable evidence where they're going to overturn it? Because they called it out. They called it double play first. So I'm like, yeah, I get where it looks like, like it was just a bang bang play and he probably shouldn't have been called out, but like you called it out in the field. So there's enough evidence, and supposedly there was, but I can't imagine being in that situation, being the pitcher, like you have just like this, like this monkey's been lifted off your back, all the pressure is off, you're celebrating. Oh no, but by the way, like the fights, the match is still happening, because you see this in fighting sometimes as well, where you think like a fighter won, and all of a sudden they have to go back to the corner and they come back out, and that fighter loses all his adrenaline, loses all his momentum. And I was really worried for that pitch for Murray State, where, did he get too high and all of a sudden he's got to come back down to neutral and he's just gassed because of it.
At any point in time, Austen, were you concerned that your alma mater, a place that you have so much history, could have been the laughingstock of college sports if they blow that game after they dogpile?
It's unreal, because so when they called the double play and we thought the game was over, I was getting so many texts saying, like, oh, Murray State off to Omaha. Like, my mom was going crazy. And I knew, because they said, like, hey, let's review this quick. And I had a bad feeling. Yes, Kasey, to answer your question, I was extremely worried in terms of memes, in terms of GIFs. Like, I thought Murray State was going to be at the forefront of all of those, right? Because that's what happens when you're on primetime television and you're the only college baseball game happening. So, yes, I was extremely worried.
I do want to, I don't even think it can be overstated how big of an upset, how big of a Cinderella Murray State is. I would love to show this. This is their home field, as Austen well knows.
Yeah.
As you can see, the biggest part about this is not the probably 100 seats?
Not even 6 people at most. Some parents.
Okay.
So here's the biggest thing.
To be fair, well, hang on. Can I at least defend the baseball part quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's kind of hard to see, but like the seating is actually like built into the hills, so like you can't really see any of this. Okay, so you see like the dugouts, right? And then like behind those dugouts is the seating, but they're built into the hill. It's kind of a cool setup, but yes, it looks extremely small.
Okay, so you got to defend, and I'm going to come back and blow that point up, because just the fact that I can still bring my lawn chair and sit by the dugout like every high school field and every little league field across the country. The field is,
it can't happen.
It can't happen. So they kept saying that the coach is actually the one that still mows the grass. That at capacity, if you include the little size with your lawn chair or whatever, it'll hold 800.
Which
is, so this makes sense. I'm glad Austen brought this up, because I'm like, even if this is packed on the grass with people bringing their own chairs plus the little ones behind home plate, we're not getting to 800. So it does make sense that somewhere, at some point, there were other seats.
Yeah, you guys can't see it, but I mean, you can kind of tell, like, it's hard to explain, man. So if you look at like the right dugout, like along the first baseline, if you look back a little bit, you can kind of see like a straight line of bleacher, and like those go up for a couple rows on that hill. But like, once again, it's kind of hard to explain it. But needless to say,
we'll take your word for it.
Hey, go ahead and take my word for it, and that's fine. But if you watched the game last night, Murray State was in full effect in terms of their fan base.
They were.
I actually heard a lot more Racer fans cheering for the Racers than I did for the Duke Blue Devil fans, which I thought was a little surprising.
Yeah, no, it's cool. To swing back to the stadium, that is the work. Like, sorry, Austin, I'm sorry, but
look at the football stadium. Hammy, go and bring that up because we have one of the most unique football stadiums in all of college football. I felt like we did when I was a sophomore in college because we were the last team. We're the last football team in the country to have AstroTurf, and then Murray State's field, they only have
one side.
It's only one section. There's only one side. It's not like a bowl. There's literally just one side for away fans and home fans to sit at. I'm not sure if you can bring it up, Hamby, or not.
Yeah, I think he's working on it. How did you just field a second ago? That was the first thing you said? The football field?
So it was the last field in college football to showcase AstroTurf.
AstroTurf. I thought you said, for some reason, I thought you said a word that, like, I was going to say, is that just a fancy word for saying sucks? But, I mean, listen, we'll see. Okay. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So
that's the field?
So here's what they do. So the seating that you see, that's seating for both sides. And then there's a track that runs around it. And that's when, if you score a touchdown, they have a horse and then a jockey. And the horse will run around the track. Yeah. But then during homecoming, and I think you can kind of see it here, you see like a bunch of tents and everything. That's called Tent City. So then for homecoming, the other side of the field is covered with tents that people kind of tent and, like, you know, kind of like whatever, tailgate and everything and party. And that's called Tent City.
Oh, actually, if you look to the right, you can actually see some of the bleachers that he's talking about at the baseball field.
You can actually, look to the right.
Yeah.
What in the world is this place?
Wild, right?
This is...
That actually kind of looks clean.
Whoa. Now this, you just went from Google Earth to 4K.
Yeah,
I mean, this is beautiful.
Took me a while to find a good picture.
No,
went from Google Earth to a topographical map into like a Michael Bay production here.
This is a crazy photo. Like
that with that sunset too. Chef's kiss right there.
I mean, this. I'm not going to take any shots. I mean, but this is interesting now.
Where's the scoreboard?
Where is the scoreboard? Is it that little teeny thing bottom left? That's it?
Oh, hey, guys. It may have been updated a little bit, but yes, the thing to the bottom left is where the scoreboard's at.
Austen Lane.
Where do you see the play clock?
Yeah, Austen Lane's like, how much time do we have? What down is it? It's got to be the leading stadium for delay games in the history of college football. I mean,
they just put a new scoreboard in. Okay, so let's relax a little bit. It's a little bigger, but I get what you're saying. This is what happens when it's more of a basketball school than a football school. But hey, football's coming up though.
Yeah, that's what they say. Not that I expect you to be a Murray State historian here, Austen Lane, but like,
me with it. What do you got?
Is this like the biggest athletic thing?
So
not
it's funny
outside of like you and John Morant, like, to be honest, but like for a team.
Throw Quincy Williams into that too as well.
Quincy Williams, sorry about that, my guy.
Yep. And I think Heidi Klum may have been
no chance.
State racer.
There is no chance.
There's a famous model. I can't remember if it's Heidi Klum or somebody, but there's a famous model that I feel like went to Murray State. Hamby, go ahead and look that up quick, please. Thank you.
Heidi Klum did not attend college.
There we go.
Okay, well, there's some model.
I'll find it.
It's like, okay. They mentioned this last night, Kasey, when the Racers won, where they said, you know, this is the greatest moment, you know, in sports program history. And I definitely think it's up there. The basketball team, I want to say they went to a Sweet 16 one time, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I remember they upset Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt was like number 4 in the nation. And I think they may have done a Sweet 16, but I don't know. When you talk about the College World Series, that's like the top 8 teams in the nation out of all college baseball teams. So, yeah, I think to answer your question, that probably is Murray State's greatest achievement.
Chriselle Staus.
That's not her. Nope, there's somebody different. Hang on.
Actress known for her roles in All My Children and Days of Our Lives.
That sounds pretty good.
Impressive, but
I mean, as long as it's not a one episode. I mean, I could be in one episode of Days of Our Lives. I mean,
according to edurank.com, she is the second most notable alumni of Murray State, followed by John Morant.
where's Austen Lane?
Okay, Campaign is 6. Basketball player for, I think, the Thunder back when I was watching.
Campaign went to Murray State?
Oh, yeah. Campaign, Isaiah Cannon, and then obviously John Morant.
Huh.
I'm not seeing any other females, Austin, so I'm pretty sure that...
Maybe she just grew up in Murray then, but didn't actually go to the university. I'm okay.
There's a lot of basketball players on here, and I'm not seeing any of our boy. Dominique Rhymes is at 35. He was a player in the CFL.
You're telling me Austen Lane isn't in the top 35?
Bro, maybe this list is...
Austin.
No, this is bad.
By the way, Molly Sims was the girl I was thinking about.
Molly Sims.
She's a Victoria's Secret fashion model. She didn't go to Murray State, but she's from Murray, Kentucky.
Yeah, Austin, you're not in this top 50.
Damn.
Not in the top 50.
That's crazy work.
There's like 15 basketball players I've never heard of, and you're not on it.
A dude in the CFL?
Yeah.
Austin.
What's his name? Is it Pat Robinson?
No.
Dang.
Okay.
It is, I've lost it. Dominique Rhymes.
Busta Rhymes' child. No.
Spelled the same way.
Is it? No.
Bro, they have
and by the way,
they have like small business owners at like 48.
What?
Also, a famous, and you Hamby, this probably does nothing for you. Kasey, probably not either. Jim Varney, who you know as Ernest. Ernest, all the Ernest movies. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like Ernest gets scared, Ernest goes to camp.
Just to confirm, you are not talking about Ernest, the singer from country music.
No, I'm talking about
the song
Ernest,
Flower
like
Shops.
the actor, like the campy actor. Ernest.
Yeah, never heard of him.
No. Is that like an old person thing?
Too young. Yeah, it's definitely an older person thing, but he's from Murray State as well. But okay, well, I didn't crack the top 50. I guess I'll keep trying here in the Brent and Austin.
Yo!
Get my name up there a little more, and we'll see what's up.
Yeah, the top 50 thing is outrageous, by the way. But okay, so it's crazy that you bring up Ernest P. Worrell, fictional character who I'm looking up right now. So later today, I have to produce the Young and Norvell show.
Okay.
And Terry Norvell will occasionally, 4 o'clock today, by the way, on the network. Terry will occasionally send me random crap to put on the show. And he sent me a picture of Ernest P. Worrell. And I was like, what the hell is this? And now I see where he's going. Like, we're connecting some dots here on the show.
Wild, man. Comes full circle, Kasey. Living in a simulation.
Bro's going to talk about Ernest P. Worrell. But
what
how
a
about
tease.
That? What a tease. What a tease.
Sometimes we get, Travis Hunter on the show, and sometimes we get Ernest.
It's hard to tell which. Some days are better than other, but it's hard to tell. I mean, it feels like it all kind of blends together at a certain point. Hamby, are you telling me to go to break?
Yes, I am.
That's what I thought. All right, actually, we're going to go to break. Austin, we're in a bit of a predicament here that I'm going to get your take on real quick.
Okay, let's get it.
Me and Hamby were really trying to drive up chat conversation about an hour ago.
Okay.
And we let the chat vote on which interview they wanted to hear because we didn't think you were going to be on until about 12:15.
Sure.
So the chat voted, and then we haven't played it yet casually because we were about to play it right when you came on. So should I sandbag the chat even though I asked them for engagement and never play it? Or should we play it?
No, man. I mean, to definitely play it. You always have to deliver on your promises, but as long as it's a good interview or a good whatever, yeah. Give the people what they want, man.
All right, I'll take that as we're going to
All right, so you have 5 more minutes to vote.
Yep.
Again, one last time. We are about to hear from one of the Jags assistant coaches. You have 3 options. We have 7 votes.
Oh, we're doing it.
Okay.
So feel free to vote. And it's a very tight race, as you can imagine.
With 7.
So your first option, vote 1, is Edgar Bennett, receivers coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 2 is the offensive line coach, Coach Sarrett. And 3 is Tony Perkins, the DB coach. So we have a few votes for each. We were going to hear from one of them After the break, you have 5 more minutes to vote.
Vote in the chat. Hamby will count it up. He's the best mathematician we have here, and you will hear that after the break, the last hour of the Brent and Austen show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. You'll hear that. You'll hear from apparently not a top 5 alumni at Murray State, Austen Lane, but he is number 1 in our hearts. More from Jason Hamby. I'll be here, and we leave you with this outrageous shot of a
Drink it in.
home baseball field of a team that's going to the College World Series. Clubhouses, nah. Bathrooms, public. Behind the center field wall, we got a church, and they're saying, thank you, Jesus, for taking Murray State to the Men's College World Series. We'll be right back on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter, First Coast, a call at 904-417-3557. Or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter, First Coast, on your team.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver, it's caught.
Action-packed. Weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks.
I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gonna be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training, along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
Grab some friends and go to a restaurant or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet.
Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location, right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table.
Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always go home a winner. Try any of the 3 locations, and you can always visit bestbetjacks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Lunch pail into work, kind of guy, blue collar guy.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can.
So I got to be honest.
You can't win them all, just as Marcel said.
So I got to be honest.
What you got, man?
Yo, I just absolutely
All right, I respect it.
Yep, it's about right.
I respect it.
I was getting set for our interview.
And
forgot to click off of it.
Hey, listen, I respect. I'm not mad at it. Right, things happen. Here's what I'll tell you. I knew
Casey,
there was
Uncle Austin are here. The cool uncles are here. Brent's out of town. We got our feet in the parking lot. We're just chilling.
I mean, yeah. Listen, Brent probably wouldn't have been too happy with how that played out, right?
Nope.
But listen, you know me. It's me. All right, you know me. It's fine. I will say though, I was worried when we started to come back from the break, and you're listening to the Brent and Austen show, that thing, and I heard the video start to play, and I was like, uh-oh. But what I like about sitting in this chair is, like, as you have all seen, Hamby's over there in a little drive-through window, as they call it. And I like he's very calmly hit me with one of these, like I got it. And I had no concern. I was like, he's got it. He's understood that there's a situation afoot. 1 second, I was like, cool, he's got it. And then, here comes Marcel, once again, talking about that one painter First Coast. And I just see Hamby throw the hands up. It just wasn't having it. And I was like, it happens. Is it fair to say that that was the winner of the interview contest?
Yes, Sean Serrett, our offensive line coach, the Jaguars offensive line coach, is the winner of the chat vote.
Somehow I'm not surprised that people want to hear about the offensive line, which is always a conversation here in Jacksonville. New faces, some old faces still on the offensive line. At the end, some new faces in between those two tackles. And what will that be like? What is the vibe around the Jags offensive line? What do they see for the future? Let's have some offensive line conversation on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
What do you see in Walker Little?
I see consistency. He's a guy that comes in every day and, he's one of those guys who works his ass off, brings his lunch pail into work, kind of guy, blue collar guy that works his ass off. And that's the kind of guys that, that we can lean on in this room and in this organization.
And then how about Anton?
Anton has done an excellent job for us. He's just, he's still working toward being more consistent. He's an athletic guy. When you look at him, you're like, man, this guy's ceiling's so high. It can be this so high. But then you want it to be every play. It can be a little bit of a roller coaster, but he's getting better at it. He really is. He's working so hard at it.
So last one for me. Zone blocking scheme became a buzzword here the last few years.
Yeah.
Obviously, we look at the league as a whole, and yes, there's this notion of zone blocking has increased as the McVay, Shanahan tree brought it into the forefront. Certainly, Liam ran a ton of gap and multiple schemes last year. So, what do you make of this conversation of, is this offensive line a zone scheme or a gap scheme, and what will your offensive line look like?
Yeah, that's one of these deals. You really can't evaluate this at this point. it's a deal that really shows its head once you get into training camp, once you get into preseason. It's one of those deals where you see the guys go out and do it, and then you got to make that decision. What do you feel we are? And that's not only going to fall on me, that's going to fall on the Grant, that's going to fall on the Liam, but you really can't tell that. It's one of those situations. We're not going to go out there and be a wide zone team, a mid zone team, if we can't do it. If we can't do it, we're not going to do it. We're going to put these guys in the best positions possible to be successful. So guess what? If we're a gap team and that's all we can do, we're going to run nothing but gap. That's just part of it. Yeah.
Hey, Coach Tony Wiggins,
Hey, Tony.
Jaguar.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Which one of those is easier? Do you have to be more athletic to play zone than you do gap?
Not necessarily. I mean, just like us talking about Ramon Foster. Ramon Foster was a 6'4", 340-pound man at Pittsburgh, and we ran quite a bit of zone with him. So it's not just based on that at all. I think when you get into more of the wide zone, it's maybe a little bit different there, but the mid zone stuff like in the gap world, not a big deal.
Yeah, I think the dude that told me that played for Denver with Shanahan.
Yeah,
so they were doing a lot of that.
Yeah, a lot of more of the wide zone.
Yeah. Do you have a certain trait you look for more than others in offensive linemen? I notice you guys have a lot of people that's versatile.
Yep.
For instance, Makari, his splits last year, 0 at right guard.
Yep.
But everybody has him lined up here at right guard. How do you make that projection that that's the best spot for him on this offense?
I don't know if it's a projection more or less. It just kind of fell into it. Watching him though, watching him play the other spots, like I was telling these guys earlier, he was a glue guy at Baltimore. Like I was sitting there at Pittsburgh, and you'd watch a left tackle get hurt in a big game coming up, and he's got a block. They just put him out there, and he wouldn't bat an eye, and he would go compete at a high level, and you just be like, whoa, wow, that's the kind of guy. It doesn't matter. You can line him up wherever you want. So I just said, wait, I put him at right guard. He felt comfortable, so we put him there. He hasn't batted an eye, and he's competed his ass off, and he looks like he can do it at a high level at that position as well.
No doubt.
But the trait you asked for, it really is the trait we really try to define on guys here is you got to have grit. All right?
So I did a radio show with the EVP Tony Baselli years ago.
Yep.
And I asked him what was his favorite part of the offensive lineman, and he said, when you're winning and you're running and they know it and ain't nothing they can do about it. Do you get goosebumps when you think about a situation where they're literally going to run this ball and get 5 yards of carry and there's nothing you can do?
Yeah, it is a great feeling, like you're saying. Another thing too, though, is no problem. Another thing about it is when you're running the ball, you're not only you're running it, you're demoralizing them, right? You're also helping the defense. You're keeping them off the field. You're helping the quarterback take pressure off him. All he's got to do is turn around and hand the ball off. There's no thinking, no third. You're keeping yourself out of third downs where pressures could come hit you in the face, right? Another thing, too, controlling the clock. You're eating that time up, keeping their offense off the field, right? So, it's just all across the board. Yeah, does it feel great as an offensive line coach and offensive line to sit there and say that? Yeah, but as a whole, it helps everybody.
It really, really does.
Yeah.
Do you ever have to explain to the players that short term they don't get a lot of credit for winning, but if the quarterback's running for his life, you can't convert on 4th and 1, y'all can get all the blame.
Yes.
And it could be just one person, not the entire unit. How do you dissect? I see you smiling. How do you dissect?
Because we have had this conversation this spring. It's real, and I'll be the first one to say it. An offensive lineman could be having the greatest game of his life. And they get maybe the quarterback drifts, maybe a running back misses a block. Media looks at it and they say, man, they gave up a sack right there, was at the line. And then all of a sudden they look at that guy, he's having a shit day. Well, no, it's not that by any means. And that's something they got to fight through, and they got to realize that. This is the NFL. You're going to play big boy football, and you're going to win some downs, and guess what? You're going to lose some downs. But you got to win more than you lose. And then when you lose that down, you got to let it go. You can't get in that mixer. Some of these guys that you see, they'll get in a mixer, and then after losing that rep, they're back in their head for the next 3 or 4 reps, and it affects them on those reps. So that's the thing we talk about with these guys. You screw up on a play, let it go. Play the next play, man.
Without getting into much of the past.
Yep.
Moving forward, how do you keep, because now you guys don't have a bunch of young developmental backups.
Yep.
You got guys that have played snaps.
Yep.
And that's going to really, really help the competition, like you said. But a lot of them also are versatile. So how do you get it to the point where they're not going to rotate like defensive linemen?
Yep.
if nobody gets hurt, you probably ain't gonna play. How do you keep those 5 guys engaged? Play week after week after week because the offensive line depends so much on continuity.
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at any offensive line in the NFL, over a 17-game week season, there's going to be attrition. There's going to be guys that get hurt, and these guys got to be ready to step up. They got to be ready to be the next man up, and I think that's true. And like you said, these guys are older. They understand that. It's not like we got a rookie in there who's spitting at the bit to get at it. You know, it's one of those deals where they understand the process. It's just going to be a long season, and they got each other's back. That's one thing I'll say this offensive line, as these guys get to know each other, and you're starting to see it on the field, and it's just funny, like if you see it built from the ground up, they got each other's back, so they're going to, if somebody gets hurt, next guy in there, let's go.
Yes, sir, I appreciate.
So there's one thing that like you can't hide, and that's like a O-line dude. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you like your offensive line coach to like just scream tough nose dude. And that's what I get from that. I also get from that type of human, right? The tough nose, I'm going to be tough type of guy may not always be the best communicator. And I feel like once again, they have yet another well-spoken, good communicating coach to get a point across. And I don't know, Austin. I think it's hard to kind of like say that that's like what you're looking for in a coach because you're looking at someone that can coach it, obviously. But it feels like a lot of their staff and hires from Gladstone down are what appear to be not only good football minds and coaches and people, but also it feels like they looked for somewhat elite communicators.
No, it's a great point, Kasey. But first of all, if you wouldn't have told me who was speaking and I had to close my eyes and guess what position that guy coaches, it's offensive line all day. And I don't want to tell you how to do your job, Kasey, but that could be a potential game when training camp starts where you take position coaches from around the league on different teams, you get a sound bite, and me and Brent got to guess what position do they coach just based off of their demeanor and like their voice inflection.
That's pretty good. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Take it work.
Take it probably want, just just spitballing here. But no, Kasey, it's wild that you mentioned that because it was the first thing I was gonna bring up is he almost sounds like a country version of Liam Cohen in a way. So, and keep in mind, like, it's not like this guy's been under Liam Cohen's staff for, a decade or something, like not even close. So I think it's a great point, Kasey. And I was kind of on that same ballpark where, and I haven't listened to every single position coach talk, so I can't speak on everybody right now.
Sure.
But based off of that interview, because you said it, usually offensive line coaches, some defensive line coaches, they're intense. They're a little more old school. They're accustomed to yelling to try to get their point across, and they aren't necessarily the best communicators. That was a great interview. Like that got information out. He still kind of had some of his southern, blue collarness, which is great because you have to be yourself. But I thought it was a great showcase of just his communication.
Yeah, it really stands out to me that it feels like they're going for a certain type of thing, and even in the interview, like I think that just is like you see that at every position, right? You heard it mentioned there, like they're looking for guys with grit. That's what they're looking for on their offensive line. But it feels like overall they're looking for people that can communicate, people that in the player side love football. You heard grit there. Early on, some conversation in there about Walker Little, some interesting thoughts on Anton Harrison. Overall, are you I'll just start here. Where are you at as we sit here on June 10th with their offensive line?
It's crazy because I almost feel the same way about the offensive line as I do about the defensive line. And if we look back to last year, and like analytics aside and everything, and I don't even really see stats, but let's be honest, like some Achilles heels of this Jaguars team from last year was the offensive line, the run blocking, keeping Trevor upright, and then to your defensive line. I don't like putting my faith into things. I'd more like it prefer just to be black and white. Like this is what I know. Like, do I know this offensive line is going to be a lot better? Well, I would assume so, Kasey, but I don't know 100%. Do I know the interior defensive line is going to play better? Well, we can sit here and say, okay, their younger guys got a year older. Eric Armstead's going back to defensive tackle. Like, you have a good feeling, but once again, you can't say for sure. But this is where my faith comes into play. This is where my trust comes into play. I trust that Liam Cohen and his play calling and his scheme is going to elevate this offensive line. Just like I trust in Campanelli's scheme on defense is going to elevate that interior. Now, once again, that's all I can say is that it's trust. It's not a sure thing. But on defense, well, can't be much worse. And I think on offense, you saw what they did in Tampa Bay. Now, do they have a Tristan Wirfs? Well, probably not, right? So, I mean, take that for how you want. Do they have as talented offensive line in Jacksonville as they do in Tampa Bay? Well, no, they do not. But at the end of the day, once again, I'm putting my faith in the scheme, in the play calling, and in Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, you got to put your faith in something. I'll give you that. Listen, I don't love the moves they made on their offensive line. YB in the chat makes a good point. Got to wait till they put on pads to really know anything, and that's absolutely fair. Again, it's June. I do wonder this, and Hamby, if you have a thought, obviously, I want to hear it. But Walker Little at left tackle, Anton Harrison at right tackle. Between the two, which one are you more confident in to do their job at a high level?
That's a great question, man.
And by the way, you could potentially go, I don't feel strongly enough that either of them are going to do their job at a high level if that's where you want to. You don't have to.
No, I mean, yeah, it's honestly, to me, it's almost a coin flip because you can make arguments for both of them. I think with Anton Harrison, a little more, well, I don't even know because who started more games technically, right?
True.
Like Walker Little's been in the league a lot longer, but how many games has he truly started? Anton Harrison has started, his first 2 years. It's a great question, Kasey. I almost lean a little more towards Anton Harrison because I refuse to believe that Walker Little just didn't play because they didn't feel like it, right? Like, we don't like him. He's not going to play left back. There had to be something to it. Now, whether or not in terms of position coach, in terms of offensive coordinator, in terms of Doug Peterson, did they do themselves a disservice by not evaluating Walker Little properly and maybe they should have given him a shot? Sure. But once again, I'm not going to put my faith in this answer. I'm going to put it just what I know. I know Anton Harrison has been a starter for, I feel like, a lot more games simply because I think there's a lot more faith in him right now and what he can do. So I'm going with Anton Harrison to answer that question.
Hamby, you have a thought?
No, I think what we saw from Anton last year was kind of similar to what Coach Sarah just kind of mentioned. Is sometimes it was really good and sometimes it wasn't so good.
I want to ask you. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Hamby. I mean, cut you off.
No, you're good, bro. So I think what we have seen from Walker Little is at least consistency at some level. The question is who's better at their position.
Who are you more confident to play at a high level?
At a high level.
And you can choose neither if you'd like.
Yeah, at a high level, then I think Anton has shown me more high-level play in spurts.
Okay, that's fair.
So if the question is high-level play, entering year 3, I think I would take Anton Harrison. I think Walker Little will be stable, dependable at left tackle. However, I think there are just times where it's just going to be like, well, you got beat. And, everybody, first of all, every offensive lineman is going to get beat at plenty of times this year. It's just going to happen. I just don't know how high the floor can get for a guy who's literally played everywhere. And this is his first time finally being stamped as left tackle is your position and you're secure in it.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting thing, guys, when we talk about what Liam Cohen came from in Tampa Bay. Because, we can sit here and say it was the Bucky Irving show. We can sit here and say it was Mike Evans for a while, but he got banged up. We can sit here and say it was Chris Godwin who got banged up. We can sit here and say it was Baker Mayfield. But if you look at how that season went for the Buccaneers, and I think achieved expectations, their calling card was an offensive line. Regardless of who went down at wide receiver, regardless of the running back carousel for the first couple weeks until Bucky Irving established himself as the go-to guy, that offensive line remained dominant. Are you guys a little surprised that Liam Cohen then comes to Jacksonville, and based off of what you saw last year with the Jaguars offensive line, and yeah, you adjusted a little bit with what's the guy's name? Wyatt Millam, offensive line, the 3rd round pick. But are you a little surprised that maybe they didn't do more since it was such an important thing in Tampa, and you saw what it was last year? Or is it Liam Cohen saying, you know what? I watched film. I trusted my scheme. I trust in the guys that we have, and I think we're going to be okay.
See, that's where I go back and forth between like, and this is going to sound bad, like, what is the number one priority this year? Is it winning, or is it figuring out what you have and developing? And I think that may come into play on your offensive line, right? Because as you guys both just mentioned, you think you're more confident in Anton to play at a high level this year, when Walker Little's the guy who's making, $11 million this year to be your left tackle, and you went with not that guy. And I'm not saying you're right or wrong. So I just think it's interesting that from that perspective, and they're always trying to win, I get it. But Anton Harrison, again, there's been some good, there's been some not so good, but in his position and in the position the Jags are in, they could use this as a year to say, okay, we're going to figure out if this guy is our guy next year when we're trying to put all these pieces together. Where in Walker Little, you guys didn't pay him. This regime didn't pay him, but he did get paid. And you can always get out of it, something like that. But they don't probably fully know what they have in Walker Little, because I don't think anybody fully knows what you have in Walker Little, because he played left guard and he played right tackle and now he's playing left tackle, and you've done all this crap with Walker Little. So that's where I go back to Austen. Like this, I look at this and go, they're kind of, I think, in a way, evaluating what they have at offensive line. And that's why maybe you don't try to go make a big splash at offensive line in the offseason, because you want to know what you have before you go and maybe spend big money somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad call, Kasey, right? Because the last thing you want to do is let a guy go that's, maybe still young in his career. Because let's keep it 100 here. Yes, Walker Little just got a new contract last year after the worst loss possibly in Jaguars history. Call it what you want. They don't owe him anything, though. Liam Cohen doesn't. James Gladstone doesn't. Like, do you think it's like, oh, well, we got to play him now? Look what we're paying. No. I think Walker Little has to earn a spot just like every other player on that roster that's maybe like, all right, let's see what we got. I get what you're saying there. And maybe that is the right way to go about things, Kasey. But we've seen this now, right? D'Amico Ryans, Dan Quinn. These guys coming into a situation that maybe wasn't the best, turn it around in one season. Like they've almost ruined it now for first year coaches or for a first year coach with a new team, where it's like, I feel like in the past it's like, okay, well, we gotta see what we got. We gotta evaluate. Yeah, okay. Like give us a couple years here, give us a little bit of a leash, and we'll figure it out. Those days are done, and especially I feel like in the AFC South division where, set aside from the Texans, nobody else scares you. So I would be cautionary, and I get it's Shad Khan, and Shad Khan is a very patient owner, right? And he's going to let you do your thing. But I would be very cautionary in terms of, okay, let's just see what we got. Like, I want to have that mentality. We have to win this division this year. Like, this is Trevor Lawrence. We drafted Travis Hunter. We don't have a first-round pick next. There's things to look at and say we're invested in right now. So I don't like that narrative, even though that could be what it is, where it's like we got to kind of wait and see what we got, because I feel like that way of thinking now in the NFL is kind of a dying thing.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't disagree with that, and I hope they're not thinking that way, right? They should be trying to win.
Yeah.
And me and Hamby said it earlier, like, I think if you're trying to win right now, Travis Etienne should be a big part of that and helps you win right now. And obviously there's been a lot of conversation about that. And Hamby's a big fan of Tootin. I know there's a lot of people that are big fans of Tootin. But, like, to me, if you're trying to win right now, Tootin better not be doing too much, right? It should be Travis Etienne. There should be some Tank Bigsby. Yep. But I think the thought is that there's going to be some work for Tootin. And what does that look like halfway through the season? And I feel the same way about offensive line, because I think in a weird way with Walker Little, like, yeah, the old regime paid him. But also, like, they didn't pay him. Don't get me wrong, $15 million is good work if you can find it. But, like, it's not like, it's top tier left tackle money.
Yeah. You aren't breaking the bank.
So low key, if they don't necessarily know what they have at this moment, June 10th, 3 months after taking the job, and you play, which he will play this year, and he ends up being better than expected, you might be able to say, well, we kind of got a deal here because we didn't know what we were getting here. We let him play. We figured out we like what we got here, and he's good. So I go back and forth between those mindsets, man. Like some of the things they do, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely a 26 thing. But then, like, again, Travis Etienne and some of the other stuff, I'm like, yeah, that really helps you in 25. So I'm sure there's obviously a balance between trying to win a Super Bowl right now and trying to win in a couple years, but the offensive line stuff confuses me a little bit.
Kasey, well, then let me ask you this, right? Since you brought up Travis Etienne, and I agree with you. I think Travis Etienne should be the guy going forward. He's the most established. He's had the most success. But what part of you, if you're Liam Cohen, and it's like the Bucky Irving effect? Because this is what it reminds me of right now. Going into this offseason, and I'm not saying it's going to be like this, but this is what it just reminds me right now going into training camp, in a couple weeks or so. Rachaad White was the guy in Tampa. Like, I drafted him in fantasy last year for a reason, because he was the bell cow. He was getting the receptions, he was getting the runs. Like, dude had quite the resume, and he had a lot of hype going into last season as well. Well, you get a guy in Bucky Irving from Oregon who, okay, combine goes in later rounds and everything, and you slowly start to implement him, right? It's kind of a running back carousel, but then he has a couple great games. Rachaad White kind of falls off a little bit, and then it's the Bucky Irving show. Like, can you see that happening with Travis Etienne in a contract year where he should get the starting reps? He should be the guy until he's not the guy. But, like, how much of you, if you're Liam Cohen, want to say, hey, we also have this home run threat now, too, in Tootin, and I want to see what this guy can do as well.
Yeah, listen, there's a balance. There's got to be a balance. I get that. And here's the part that I don't know to this story, Hamby. I don't know if you can look this up. Bucky Irving at Oregon. Like you talked about, Hamby, you talked about it earlier, like in terms of fourth round, later round running backs. And you mentioned Dylan Sampson, who like led the SEC in rushing and was potentially talked about in the Heisman Trophy. So like I think that's one thing. What were Bucky Irvin's numbers coming out of Oregon? Was he like the greatest thing since sliced bread? Or like this is the part that I don't know.
14 games, 1,200 yards, 11 tuds, 400 more receiving.
Oh, he's pretty good, right? Pretty
good.
Pretty, where does that, I know you don't have this up, but could you look up where that relates to like where Tootin was? And like obviously there's a level of competition thing there. Virginia Tech is Virginia Tech. Oregon, when Bucky Irvin was at Oregon, still played that out west schedule in terms of the USCs of the world and whatnot. Because like I get it looks too much like what happened in Tampa, right, with the Bucky Irving and Tootin thing here in Jacksonville. But like,
dang,
what you got?
Irving's numbers were very similar rushing.
Very similar.
He had 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns.
Okay.
He only had 23 catches and 81 yards receiving.
Yeah, I do remember that part of it. Significantly less work in the pass game.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
I wonder if that's something they think they can develop. Because if not, then it makes almost no sense to Bucky Irving, right?
Right.
So yeah, I guess they, as everybody says, they are extremely similar. But yeah, I mean, listen, I know at some point you're going to have to get Tootin work, Austen, if you're Liam Cohen, because that's kind of how you see this thing going. I just think you have a hard time looking me in the face and convincing me that that guy at this moment should be getting reps over Travis Etienne if we're trying to win. That may be a different conversation in November. I understand that. And it sounds like they'll start with Travis Etienne as their lead back, and I think they should. But that, I don't know if transition is the right word, but that dynamic, the middle of the season, I think will be interesting to watch when in late October, probably how this thing ends for the Jacksonville Jaguars, whether it be playoffs or not. And then the handling of, Travis Etienne's probably not going to be here. How do we keep him involved? Because you're not just going to take a guy out. And how do we bring Tootin in potentially with a whole tank Bigsby, who we're expecting to get some work as well. I think it'll be outside of the Travis Hunter, where he's playing on which side of the ball at what time. It's, in my opinion, probably the biggest thing Liam Cohen has to navigate in terms of personnel on the field for his offense.
Dude, you know what I hope it almost turns into a little bit? Because I'm not saying this situation's an exact situation to what happened in another team, but like I can see this happening. Miami Dolphins, Raheem Mostert, who I'm not comparing him to Travis Etienne. I think, you know, Mostert was more, or Mostert, whatever, was more of like, you know, like the touchdown bell cow inside like the 5-yard line, whatever. But correct me if I'm wrong, I believe he led the league in touchdowns a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That was a huge year.
They get a guy in A-Chan, and like was kind of like this third down back, right? Can kind of run some wrinkles in with that McDaniel offense and everything. Well, he almost becomes undeniable where it's like, well, this dude is so fast, and if he gets the ball in space, like he's going to take it all the time. And the Miami Dolphins go, all right, well, Mostert, it's been fun, but we got A-Chan now. If he can stay healthy, this is the dude. And if you've been reading at fantasy football and everything, like there's a high expectation for A-Chan to really do his thing this year. I wonder if you can kind of have that feeling when you look at Tootin, right? Where you bring a guy in, not necessarily to be the guy right away, but like once he gets on the field, once you see what he's capable of, is he going to be so undeniable that it's like, hey, I get we got ETN, I get we got Tank Bigsby, but like this guy's like A-Chan, man, where we got to give him the ball in space and just watch him do his thing.
And listen, that would be a best case scenario for the Jaguars, because that means that you found something in the 4th round that is extremely going to impact your team, right? And listen,
and Travis A-Chan was a 3rd round pick, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And the Travis Etienne story has pretty much been told. I do still think there's good, and he can give you something as a lead back. But yeah, listen, you're right. It would be a good problem to have if both of those guys are performing, but Tootin is just undeniable. You have to have him on the football field, and we'll see what that looks like. That would be new though in Jacksonville, because it feels like has there ever been a draft pick 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round that was undeniable? You had to have them on the field. Is that outside of Austen Lane? Has that ever happened?
Thank you, Casey.
No problem.
I mean, well, you know, Alan Hearns speaks out a little bit.
Alan Hearns is a good call.
But like he was an undrafted, you know, but like that was really just a year. I mean, Telvin Smith like was kind of undeniable just from his speed. But I'm trying to think of a guy where you think of like, okay, you know, you can go different directions here, but like this guy's so good, we got to keep him on. I mean, I'd probably say Telvin Smith, and that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Telvin's a good call there. But the point is, it doesn't happen. So if it were to happen,
it doesn't, man. Especially in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it would be celebrated. And listen, hopefully that works out for Liam Cohen and the Jacksonville Jaguars offense. We got to take one more break. Let's do that before the end of the show, because Austin, you know how I feel about the Florida Panthers, right?
I'm kind of aware. Yeah,
hate them.
I have a good idea.
Yeah, hate them. Well, last night they played hockey in Sunrise, Florida, which we talked about a little bit at the top of the show.
Everyone's really excited around here.
No, they're not. Stop it.
Nah, I'm kidding. Exactly. I think I saw a billboard. That was about it. Yeah.
Exactly. The NHL posted last night their celebrities in attendance for the Game 3 of the Stanley Cup down in Sunrise, Florida. And I want to break this thing down. There was about 6 or 7 humans, so we're going to show you those when we come back, and that's how we'll end the show. But real quick, though, YB400 says Brandon Linder in terms of what we were just talking about. With, like, undeniable, you got to get him on the field from a later round pick standpoint. What was Linder,
but to
third?
be fair, it's an offensive lineman, right? You know, like...
Yeah. I mean, still.
Hey, you know, okay, but you know what it was with Brandon Linder? Well, I'm not talking about him. Keep him on the field. He's looking good. Basically. If I'm not talking about him, he's not sticking out. Yeah, keep him on the field.
That's a good point. That is a good point. All right, so we will show you Celebrity Row at the Florida Panthers game to close out a show.
I thought about going to that game last night too, Casey. I was looking at tickets online.
Oh, what about 60, 70 cents or so?
Yeah, they're trying to pay me to actually go. Yeah.
If you would have walked outside the arena last night, they would have looked at you and said, you're kind of like, you've got to be a celebrity, right? You're tall, muscular, like you got to be somebody. Here, take this Panthers jersey. We're going to put you in celebrity row. And also, I'm not going to lie.
Up if you got some.
You would have been like second or third on this celebrity lineup that we'll show you when we come back.
It's that bad, huh?
It is. It is rough.
Look at it.
And a look at the Jacksonville Jaguars mini camp today. Travis Hunter defense, it appears, definitely. Those are some of your DBs for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Looks like they almost got rained on. Hopefully they did not. But, they get paid millions of dollars. They get rained on. It's okay. Hopefully the camera equipment, really, is what we're worried about here, did not get rained on. Tyson Campbell looking healthy. You love to see it. And there's Travis Hunter with the back pedal. Like the old mustard-looking sleeve. Can't complain about it. Just don't bring back those mustard-looking jerseys because those things were the worst. We're coming back for one final segment on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network right after this.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick GMC. We are professional grade.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information.
Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jack's Pal.
Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
All right. Here we go.
Another one.
Hamby's Burner, I hope you're here because we're going to talk about your bum-ass Florida Panthers. All right, so hockey-wise, Panthers, they win. Great. All right, so the NHL posted their celebrities in attendance for last night's Stanley Cup game. We're going to go in order of how they posted them. Austen, I want your reaction to each. First up, first one they post, DJ Khaled. Very much a celebrity. Yes. Your thoughts?
Yep. Can't name a single player on the Florida Panthers, but showing up to show face.
Definitely. 100%. That is correct. That's why Khaled is there. Khaled, though, if it was a Lakers game, would fit right in on Celebrity Row. This guy is known to just about everybody. He's on one, another one. All he does is win. Key. He's got the keys, the major keys to success. Rides a jet ski, has occasionally got lost.
Gatorade.
I mean, just one of the
Probably
greatest.
On the jet ski to the game. Somehow.
Probably.
And perhaps, what is this?
One of the greatest to ever do it.
Have y'all seen that video?
Mm-hmm. Yes. This guy, I mean, he's the best. This is a very strong start to Celebrity Row at the Stanley Cup game in Sunrise, not Miami, Florida. What do we have next? Okay.
Huh.
All right.
Carson Beckless, I see.
Carson Beckless. I'm not even sure which one was dating him, but Haley and Hannah Cavender, one engaged to Jake Ferguson, one broke up with Carson Beck for being, I didn't say it.
Jake Ferguson, the tight end?
Yeah.
Yes. One of them is engaged to Jake Ferguson. I forget which one. But if you're unfamiliar, these are female basketball players who played for, I forget where they even started. But yeah, they ended up at Miami. They obviously apparently live in Miami. Tons of TikTok following, a lot of NIL dollars. Would they make it in Celebrity Row at the Knicks game? Probably not. But I mean, they're here. It's what the Panthers, they're trying to tell people about the Panthers, so I get that. Influencers are good for that. What do we think, Austen?
Doing a TikTok dance, I guess, like let's go Panthers, do a little shimmy, a little shake. Sure.
I mean, not a strong in the second spot. Next picture they posted, Hamby.
Also, real quick, is Kasey, should we ban jean shorts and a hockey sweater at a hockey game? Like short jean shorts?
Yeah. Well, should we?
Only in Florida, huh?
Only in Florida. That's a great call. That's an only in Florida look, without a doubt. Next picture they posted, Hamby. NHL! Yo, are you guys sick? All right, NHL, this is hockey. We're talking hockey, and you do this? Calm down. All right, this is how you know this is a problem for the Florida Panthers, because if this was the Maple Leafs and some other team that people know, the New York Rangers, you would never get short gym shorts from the back, you perverts, NHL. We can't be doing this.
Wait, this is from the official NHL?
I swear to you.
Handle?
I swear to you.
Oh,
third picture they posted. NHL, do better. Amby, what do we got now?
Yeah, this is a rough one. Yeah. I have nothing else to say about it. It's rough.
Not good. Okay. All right. As I live and breathe, is that 3-point specialist for the Miami Heat who this is how you know the Panthers are the fakest of fake. This guy showed up in a sweater underneath, you can clearly see, and they're like, hey, Duncan, we got a jersey that's number 63. Do you mind wearing this? And by the way, if you don't know who that is, which Hamby didn't, that's Duncan Robinson, like the 6th best player on the Miami Heat.
Yeah, one of the best 3-point shooters going, supposedly. That's what Heat fans will tell you. Guy probably spent more time watching the Florida Panthers play in this last game last night than he'd actually on the court for the Miami Heat this past season.
Yeah, that's devious work right there, and I don't think you're wrong about that.
Tell me I'm not. Yeah, tell me I'm wrong though. Yeah,
bro was watching 60 minutes of
Robinson.
hockey. Yeah, I mean, this is the 3rd celebrity they post. This is not anywhere comparing to the Lakers and Knicks. All right. Huh. I mean, Bradley Chubb.
I get it.
I mean, famous for sure. Definitely not the most famous Miami Dolphin. I mean,
no, Jalen could have been there.
Jalen, I'm assuming they called over and were like, hey, can you send us a player for this? And they're like, well, we're not going to send you Tua or Tyreek or Waddle or Jalen, but Bradley Chubb. Yeah, we could send you Bradley Chubb for sure. Bradley Chubb, again, showed up with clearly a shirt underneath, and they were like, hey, we can give you a jersey. No Stanley Cup logo, though, on your jersey. We're just giving you the base package with the LaCroix sparkling water sponsorship, but we cannot give you anything special on that jersey. No patches.
Kasey, you know what's crazy? This reminds me of a story real quick. So when I was in Chicago, I think it was 2014, and we're going through off-season training camp and everything, the Blackhawks made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. And even them, they wanted players to come out and support, it's a good look and everything. And they're like, oh, so you're a hockey fan? I go, yeah, absolutely. They're like, how would you like, front row with some other players, bang on the glass, your own jersey, everything, to come support the Blackhawks? And what do I say? Absolutely not, because I'm a Wings fan, and my first hockey game isn't going to be in Chicago at a Blackhawks Stanley Cup final. Thank you very much.
Look at you for standing on business. Good for you.
Yeah, man, I always stand on business now. Hey, I don't know who this person is. I'm going to be honest.
So this is next. They follow up Bradley Chubb with Tyler Cameron. Hammy, you know Tyler Cameron?
Is that an actor?
Sort of. Tyler Cameron, known for his fame of being on The Bachelor. All right. He competed for the heart of Hannah Brown, actually had her heart, and Hannah decided to choose another guy who ended up cheating on her, and it did not work out. Tyler Cameron, though, thriving, I believe, has multiple web shows that he's on. Good for him. But this is...
what do you mean good for him? So you get rejected on national television, and then you just become a star because of it?
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? I'm an avid Bachelor watcher, so I can tell you exactly what happened. I watched it live. Everybody wanted Tyler Cameron to win, and he was the favorite. He poured his heart out for Hannah, and Hannah just went with this dude, Jed. Jed ended up being a major scumbag, cheated big time on the cover of People magazine, and then Hannah tried to go back to Tyler, and Tyler was like, swerve, you didn't pick me the first time, I ain't picking you now. It's great stuff. There's quality programming. But the point is, probably not a celebrity for the celebrity row.
No, absolutely not. Okay, who we got here? Bam. Okay, I mean, listen, Bam, I get. And Udana, dude, so Hamby, I know you don't know who these people are, and that's okay.
Yes, I do. Udonis was always true from 12 feet on the baseline. Give it to him every time. He probably shot 90%.
Okay.
Dude, he's not wrong there, man. Nailed it. Yeah, Udonis Haslam, from a casual basketball fan, you should know who he is. Dude, believe me when I say he is loved, I feel like, in South Florida. That's their golden child. So Bam and Udonis make some sense.
Okay, I don't disagree with any of what you said, but this is how tone deaf the Panthers administration is. Why on earth is this photo behind Tyler Cameron and some other bums? This has to be in the 2 spot.
That's a great point.
Right after DJ Khaled, because I think in the Miami hierarchy, DJ Khaled then Udonis.
Yeah. I mean, we're putting 2 twins with jean shorts in over these guys? What are we talking about?
Exactly. They goof it. And then this is the last one. I have absolutely no idea who this person is, but this is everything that the Florida Panthers stand for.
Why didn't she get a jersey?
Why didn't she get a jersey? One, because they don't know who she is. There's nothing.
One, midriff, duh.
Listen, look at behind all the other pictures, like when they were in that like holding room, there were like Panther stuff on the sides and on the couch. They legitimately were outside before the game. They saw her and was like, she's probably an influencer. Pulled her in, no jersey, no random spot. They're like, here's some free tickets. Can you please take a picture with this, what looks like Celsius, and we're going to post it on our celebrity row. What a joke of an organization, Florida Panthers. Hey, you guys suck.
What was her name? Juliet what?
Porter?
Okay, Juliet Porter, never been to a hockey game. Rocking a tank top to a hockey game like there's not ice that has to be cold when you walk in the arena is unreal.
Unreal. Austin, we have less than 30 seconds, but isn't that just an absolute mess of a celebrity row? Just the worst.
No, without a doubt. And Kasey, and listen, man, like I always go back and forth with the Florida Panthers because here's why I like the Florida Panthers. They're gritty. I like the way they play. But does it match the city that they're in? Does it match Miami? Does it match South Florida? Absolutely not. Like, we respect the Lions because they're blue collar. They take after their coach. The Florida Panthers team and the way they play, it should be in like Boston. It should be in Pittsburgh. It shouldn't be played in South Florida.
It should not be played in South Florida. You're in South Florida. Continue the training. We'll talk to you tomorrow. The Panthers won the game, but nobody cares about that part. For Jason Hamby and Austen Lane, I'm Kasey Kuhrts. We'll do it again tomorrow. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jag Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, It's a daily tournament, but this ride, MVP status.